Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto takes his studies seriously after getting bullied part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Hinata Hyuga was the Hyuga heiress, heir to the Hyuga clan. One of the most prestigious clans in Konoha. All members born into this clan possess the Byakugan. It's a Kekkai Genkai that gives them extended fields of vision and the ability to see through solid objects, even the chakra circulatory system. Members of this clan also possess an innate ability which allows them to expel chakra from any of the tenketsu in their body. She was considered royalty to the villagers of Konoha. Since she could remember, she always had expectations to uphold. Always keep your head held high. Always be the best of the best. If a person wasn't a Hyuga or Hokage, they were beneath you. Never show any emotion. Especially sadness. To do so would ruin the Hyuga name. So she did as she was told. She was the perfect heiress to the Hyuga clan in the eyes of her father and the elders. Hinata Hyuga didn't have many friends in the academy, only people that would be near her. One was Ino Yamanaka. She practically attached herself to Hinata's side. She would always drag Hinata along to wherever she went. Naturally, she rejected her friendship offer, because the next Hyuga clan head didn't have time for such things. She needed to focus on her studies and on her clan. Unfortunately, Ino didn't take no for an answer. Regardless of how many times Hinata told Ino to leave her alone, she never listened. So Hinata just did her best to ignore her, but doing so didn't faze the Yamanaka heir. She would still run her mouth off to her. The second was one Sakura Haruno. She was best friends with Ino Yamanaka. They would always sit next to one another, which was also next to Hinata. Ino and her would spend lunch together, hang out together after school, and sleep over with each other sometimes. They were best friends and would be inseparable. The third and final person that would not leave her alone, no matter how many times she would tell him to do so, was one Kiba Inuzuka. She absolutely detested him. He would always ask her out, claiming that she would be dating the class's alpha male. All she was to him was a prize to win. That's all she was to her male classmates. All expect too. One of them was Sasuke Uchiha. The brooder of the class, emo if you will. He usually kept to himself in class, never talking to anyone since the night of the Uchiha massacre. He was always top of the class. Always being bombarded and annoyed by his fangirls, which was all of the girls in class excluding Hinata. He never paid attention to any of his fangirls, always ignoring them. The second one was Naruto Uzumaki, the dead last of the class. He would always fail every test. Never paid attention unless the topic was on the Hokages, the village's pariah. He always threw pranks, causing everyone to yell and belittle him. Hinata herself was confused on why one would act like that, but decided against asking him. Anything he did wrong would cause the whole class to laugh at him. She would pity him, but if he just put the effort to learn what they were going over, he wouldn't be in that situation. Can anyone tell me what are the shinobi ranks? Irika asked, bringing Hinata out of her thoughts. Yes, Sakura? The shinobi ranks are academy students, genin, chunin, special jonin, jonin, and hokage, Sakura said proudly. Correct. Now can anyone tell what happens if you all will turn into genin? Hinata raised her hand. Yes, Hinata? We will be put into a squad made up of 3 genin and 1 jonin, Hinata stated. Excellent. Now can someone tell me how shinobi can get promoted through the ranks? Naruto's hand went up. Ah yes, Naruto? Academy students turn into genin by passing the genin selection exams. Genin turn into chunin by passing the chunin exams. Chunin become jonin when they are recommended. Jonin to kage when they become the strongest in the village, and if they are recommended. Correct. Although one doesn't have to be the strongest in the village, just maybe one of the top strongest, Irika said with a smile. Okay class, today you have no homework? Everyone in the class cheered. Alright everyone, have a nice evening. As all the students rushed out, the only ones left were Hinata and Naruto. Hinata stood up and started to make her way out, when something caught her eye. Hinata spotted several books in Naruto's lap that were all pretty thick and relating to their class's lessons. So he's finally taking his studies seriously, Hinata thought as she left. After arriving home, she went straight to the dojo, where she was expected to be, after arriving home from school, for training. As she entered the dojo, she immediately spotted her father, sister, cousin, and elders. Welcome, Hinata. Hi, she said with a small smile. Today you are to spar against your cousin Niji. Understood, father, Hinata said as she got into her fighting stance, making her cousin do the same. Good. Now begin. After Hinata left, Naruto stood up and made his way towards Iruka's desk with the books in his hands. Hey Iruka-sensei? I finished these books as well. Is there any more I can read? Yes, here you go Naruto. I'm glad you're finally putting efforts into the academy course. I know you'll make a great shinobi one day. Iruka gave a bright smile to Naruto. Yeah, thanks sensei. Naruto was a bit scared to ask Iruka what he wanted to, but he was forced to. Hey sensei, can you help me with something else? Yes Naruto, you can ask me. What do you need? Iruka asked, confused as to why Naruto looked so nervous. Can you buy me groceries? I'll pay you back. I just need some groceries so I can eat better to get stronger. Naruto blurted out. You want me to buy you groceries? Naruto nodded. Why can't you buy them? Iruka asked but immediately regretted doing so when Naruto's mood darkened. They always either kick me out, or charge me with double or triple the price of what I get. And I need some money to get other things. Naruto said as his eyes watered. Actually never mind, I was just joking, hee. I'll just go now. Naruto blurted out, turning to leave. Naruto, wait. Iruka got up from his desk to hug Naruto. It's alright Naruto, I'll buy you some groceries and you don't have to pay me back. Helping you is enough payment, he said with a warm smile. Do you need me to do anything else? Iruka asked, now remembering how he was treated by the villagers. Actually yes. I need more books on chakra. I want to learn more on chakra, how I can access it and use it correctly. Naruto asked while blushing, embarrassed due to his situation. I'm actually having a bit of trouble, hee. That's okay Naruto. I'll stop by the library and pick you up some books, alright? Anytime you need anything, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm here for you Naruto. Iruka ended by giving Naruto a hug, which was what he needed. Okay sensei. Thanks. Flashback. Naruto arrived at school just like any other day. He watched Iruka teach the lesson for a bit before getting bored. He starts to drift off to sleep when Iruka calls his name. Naruto. After gaining Naruto's attention, he continued. Were you just sleeping? No, sensei. I wasn't sleeping. Oh, really? Then what's the answer to my question? Well, I wasn't paying attention, but I wasn't sleeping. Naruto yelled out the last part, causing the whole class to laugh at him. Of course, the monster wasn't listening. The orphan is so dumb. No wonder his parents left him. He never had parents. Demons can have parents. What a loser! Monster demon loser parents left him. Iruka was mad at the class for saying such things to Naruto. He tried to get them quiet, so he can make them apologize and continue the lesson. Naruto couldn't take it anymore and ran out of the classroom. As he was running, he heard someone laugh and yell out something that made him even more angry. Oh look! The monster's crying! Naruto stopped at the door and turned around. I'm not a monster, a demon, or a loser. I will be Hokage someday. And when that day comes, you will all have to respect me. Yeah, right. This time Kiba yelled out. I have a better chance at becoming Hokage. In fact, I'll become Hokage myself. Like they'd have a mud for Hokage. It's better than some monster. Naruto couldn't take the pain that was in his heart anymore and ran out of the building. He wished that everyone could stop treating him like that. A monster, a demon. He's a person too, damn it. So why is it only him that gets yelled at? What did I do to deserve this? As Naruto ran through the village, he turned and decided to spend time in the forest. At least out here no one can hurt him. As he ran deeper into the forest, he came across a stream. Walking towards it, he looked in it and found some fish. Guess that's dinner. After making a makeshift fishing rod, he sat down and started fishing. While he was doing that, he was deep in thought. They're right. I'm nothing but a clanless orphan loser. A fish hooked onto Naruto's line and he pulled it out. Looking at the fish that now laid on the grass, he had a sudden surge of confidence. But I'm going to change that. I'll become the best of the class. I'll become the strongest. Naruto spent the rest of the night outside thinking of a plan to make his dream come true. Pretty quickly, Naruto realized that he would have to pay attention to the lessons and all the work from the academy. Guess there's no shortcuts. Naruto steeled his resolve for what he had to do in order to be the strongest. He would throw no more pranks, he would put all of his time and energy into being the best he could be. Flashback over. A month later, Naruto was in his room trying to feel his chakra with Iruka watching over him for his safety. After finding something warm, Naruto pulled on it, resulting in a warm and soothing feeling. He felt so peaceful and calm. He felt as if all of his fears and worries were all washed away. Naruto soon felt another source of heat, which confused him. Why do I have 2 chakra pools? Naruto dove deeper trying to get a feel for this chakra. Once he got close enough to pull, however, he found himself in a sewer. Startled by the sudden change in scenery, Naruto froze. Hee. So he finally comes to visit me. Naruto turned around to see the Kyuubi no Yoko, the bijou that attacked his home the day he was born. He was filled with questions. How was he here? Isn't he supposed to be dead? Am I dead? How? How what? How am I meeting you? Aren't you supposed to be dead? Well, a tailed beast can't die. We're a mass of pure chakra. You can't kill chakra. Our bodies can be hurt, and in an essence be killed, but we will always reform 5 years later. Kurama explained. And we're meeting each other here, in your mindscape, thanks to me being sealed here. How are you sealed in me? That's due to your Yandame Hokage. Well, him and that blasted Uchiha. Thanks to him putting me under his control, I was caught and sealed into you. Uchiha? You mean like Sasuke team's family? Yes. A member of his clan put me under a genjutsu. The only one that managed to do that to me was that blasted Madara Uchiha. However, I believe that another is capable of doing that. His chakra signature wasn't like Madara's, so he wasn't him. Although to put me under a genjutsu, he had to be really strong. Way to stroke your ego, man. Hey, I'm the mighty Kyuubi no Yoko, the strongest of the 9 bijou, Kyuubi said, puffing out his chest. My ego is justified. Naruto's sweat dropped at what Kyuubi said. Okay, well, this Uchiha sounds like a threat then. If he can control you, what's stopping him from controlling the rest of the bijous? Kyuubi somehow paled. So what do we do? Naruto looked into Kyuubi's eyes. We stop him. Together, since we're stuck with each other. Naruto answered his own question with unwavering determination in his voice. Kyuubi stared into Naruto's eyes, piercing his soul, to look for any sense of malicious or negative intent. Finding none, he softened his gaze. Wait here. Give me 5 minutes. Kyuubi told Naruto, who looked at him confused but nodded. Kyuubi walked back until he was covered by the shadows in Naruto's mindscape. When he was fully covered, Kyuubi went through Naruto's memories. He was skimming through Naruto's memories, to see if he could find any memory that would make Kyuubi second-guess his decision. Finding none, Kyuubi walked back into the light so he could face Naruto. Alright, Kit. Kyuubi let out a heavy sigh. I'll trust you. We can cooperate. You'll now be able to use my chakra without having any drawback, but wait until I give the okay to use it. It may not have any intentional drawbacks, but it can still hurt you if you're not ready to use it. Alright. I won't need to use your chakra yet anyways. Any other rules? No, that's it. If I can think of some more rules, I'll tell you. Alright. Thanks for agreeing, Kyuubi. Call me Kurama Kit. Naruto is now in the last year of the academy. He worked hard to be at the top of the class. It wasn't easy beating Sasuke out of his top spot in the class, especially with the teachers sabotaging his progress. But all it took was one complaint from Naruto to the Hokage, and all the teachers involved with holding Naruto back were sent to Ibiki, then prison. Naruto had not only improved himself academically but also physically. He found out that you couldn't be the best, the strongest, if he didn't start taking his training correctly and seriously. He asked Iruka to set up a training regime for him, and asked for any advice when he needed some. The two of them grew much closer due to this. They grew to see each other as brothers. One day he asked if he could call Iruka his older brother, and Naruto swears he saw tears coming out of his eyes. Today Naruto was in class writing down notes for the upcoming test. He would need to ace this test, like the rest, if he wanted to keep his spot at the top of the class. After Naruto took his spot, Sasuke has seen Naruto more as a rival than a weakling like everyone else does. After all, if a weakling passed him, what does that make him? Over time the boys have actually become best friends. Sasuke even asked for his help sometimes after class. Sometimes they would go training together as well, much to Kurama's protest at first. Hinata has been through a lot in the past years as well. Ino and Sakura had eased up on annoying her, to the point where she enjoys their company now. Hinata's life with the clan also improved. Sparring with Niji, training under her father, and all the elders giving their advice made Hinata progress at an impressive rate. Her father and the elders were happy with Hinata's progress and were convinced she would make an excellent leader when she's of age. To Hinata, her clan was everything. This is why she gave it her all when training. Hinata was doing well in school. In fact, she had the third highest grade in class. Hinata's placing in class greatly disappointed her, however. She was behind Naruto and Sasuke. She, along with everyone, was greatly shocked when Naruto jumped from the bottom of the class to the top in just a month. Rumors spread that he was cheating to get the best scores, but if anyone paid attention enough, they would see that he worked hard to earn his spot. Due to this, Hinata respected the blonde. The school year was already almost up. They only had a little over 6 months remaining. A quarter of the class had low scores, including the now dead last Kiba. He always put off his schoolwork, and always did horrible on the tests. He claimed that the information wouldn't be useful in the real world, and all that truly mattered in the end was who was stronger than who. Alright class, don't forget to review over what we learned today. It'll be on the test. Iruka yelled out while everyone was packing to leave. You got it, Iruka-sensei, Naruto yelled out, causing most of the class to frown at him. Ugh. Sensei, why do we need these tests? They won't help us when we're out fighting other ninjas. Kiba yelled, with a chorus of approval supporting him. Kiba Iruka shook his head as he started. These tests can help you out in the field if you actually stop and think about it. This week's test is on trap settings. You can use these tricks to protect yourself and your comrades from an enemy's ambush. Iruka continued to lecture Kiba on the importance of paying attention in class while everyone else snuck out. Man Sasuke, this test is going to be easy, Naruto told Sasuke, who nodded, as they walked out of the schoolyard towards the Uchiha's training grounds they usually used. Just 6 more months and we're going to be ninjas. Genin, of course, but we have to start somewhere. Yes. One step closer to having my revenge. Once I kill that monster I can finally rest and be happy, Sasuke said. Yeah, but I'll be there beside you when you do fight him, Naruto said as he put his arm around Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke sighed but gave a nod. I swear you're so damn annoying. Believe it, Naruto declared with a wide smile. Naruto and Sasuke walked in silence that they both appreciated. They didn't have to fill the silence. They just enjoyed each other's company. Have you learned any new jutsus? Sasuke asked Naruto as they entered the training ground. No, I'm still working on mastering the last one I picked, Wind Style, Great Breakthrough. I'm starting to get annoyed that I can't seem to get this one. It's only been what? 4 days since you picked that one out. Calm down and learn it slowly. At least that's what I do. And it takes you weeks to master it. Naruto shot back, making Sasuke develop a tick mark on his head. Shut up, dope. Sasuke pretended to growl out, but the smile on his face ratted him out. Naruto chuckled at their usual banter. He appreciated their bond. He would do anything to prevent it from breaking. After they were done laughing, they slipped into their taijutsu stances and rushed at each other. With Hinata. Hinata was walking just behind Naruto and Sasuke as they exited the academy. As they turned to walk towards the Uchiha compound, Hinata turned to walk home. As she was walking, she was thinking about how things were going in her life. She had grown closer to Sakura and Ino, going as far as to call them her actual friends, which was a huge leap. I wonder what type of training I'll have to do when I get home. Hinata was broken out of her thoughts when Kiba landed in front of her. Geez, Hinata, don't you hear when your boyfriend is calling you? Hinata deadpanned at Kiba. Inuzuka-san, we are not dating. I'm not your girlfriend, and you are not my boyfriend. Please stop saying that we are. Kiba let out a sigh. She was always like this. All cold and formal, he hated it. He just wanted her to be like all the other girls. If she were to stop being so cold and formal, then that'd be something he'd enjoy. Oh yeah? She'd be the total package then. Popular girl with a hot body that's crazy about me. Now that'd be my perfect girlfriend. Ah, come on, Hinata-chan. Kiba whined with a smirk. We will be if you just admitted that you're deeply in love with me. I do not like to lie, Inuzuka-san. Now excuse me, but I have to head home. Hinata told him to try to get away. Ugh, fine, but only if you give me a kiss on the cheek, Kiba said, wearing a shit-eating grin. I will not kiss you, Inuzuka-san. Please stop trying to be romantically involved with me. I do not see you like that. And please move out of my way before I move you myself, Hinata said with a stern voice in the end. Geez, fine, I'll move. Kiba moved aside and watched Hinata walk away from him, towards her clan compound. After she was out of view, Kiba let out a long sigh. Man. One day, Hinata. One day you will fall madly in love with me. He smirked as he walked away. With Naruto. After Naruto and Sasuke finished sparring, with a score of 3-2 in favor of Naruto, they moved on to training their ninjutsu. After about 2 hours of that, they spent the rest of the day just hanging out together. They talked about things children their age talked about. Crushes, favorite jutsu they wanted to try, plans on killing Sasuke's older brother, managing their money, and about food. Normal children stuff. They finished talking and Naruto was now on his way home. As he was walking back to his apartment, he was glared at and they muttered hateful words towards him. Unfortunately, he was able to hear what they were saying. Monster, demon, Kyuubi brat. All those hurtful words were his nicknames given to him by the villagers who couldn't understand that the Kyuubi was sealed into him. They believed that he was the Kyuubi, instead of just his container. To Naruto, Kyuubi was nicer than the villagers he was going to protect with his life once he became a genin. I just wish that they could just see me for me. Naruto's mood was lifted a bit when he heard Kurama snore in his sleep. He usually would sleep and wouldn't make a noise, but he let out a snore to let Naruto know that he was always there for him. A smile graced Naruto's lips as he remembered how the two bonded further. They had practically become brothers, another special person to Naruto. In his eyes, his family was growing, and he'd do anything to protect them. As he arrived at his apartment, he slid his key into the lock and turned it. The lock, however, didn't click, indicating that it wasn't locked. Naruto didn't notice, due to being tired and unfocused, and opened the door. He looked around and spotted someone wearing glasses. Before he could react, he was chopped in the back of the neck by someone else. Next day. As Iruka entered the classroom, he instantly noticed that Naruto wasn't there. He looked towards Sasuke to see if he had any information as to why their favorite blonde wasn't there. What he saw was a very confused Sasuke, which made Iruka more confused. It wasn't like Naruto to miss school anymore. He worked his tail, or tails, off to earn his top spot and hasn't skipped a day of school at all anymore. So him deciding to skip a school day was a shock. No matter how much Iruka wanted to stop class to go check up on Naruto, he couldn't stop class for one student. So with a sigh, he started today's class. Sasuke couldn't focus at all today. Naruto wouldn't miss a day of school if he could. So why wasn't he there today? He spent the whole day glancing at Naruto's empty seat. Any fangirls that tried to sit next to him, he growled at them and told them to back off. After class was dismissed, Sasuke ran outside. Deciding to go check up on his best friend, Sasuke was making his way towards Naruto's apartment. Once he made his way to the top of the apartment stairs, Sasuke bolted towards Naruto's door. When he got there, he knocked on the door lightly 3 times. He was unsure if Naruto stayed home due to sickness or another reason, so he would play it safe and be gentle at first. After waiting 2 minutes and got no response, he tried to knock harder. Another 2 minutes later, and he tried opening the door. Sasuke was surprised to see that the door was unlocked. Immediately red flags were going off in his head. Sasuke ran inside and searched for Naruto. When he didn't spot him in the living room, he raced towards Naruto's bedroom. Seeing the door open and no Naruto inside, he started to panic. He's fine. He's just being an idiot and is fine. He's probably just training in my family's training ground or at Ichiraku's. Sasuke spoke out loud, trying to calm his nerves down. He took a few deep breaths to calm his fast-beating heart. Once it calmed down, Sasuke stood up and made his way out of Naruto's bedroom. As he left, he spotted Iruka entering the apartment cautiously. "Iruka-sensei? What are you doing here?" Sasuke asked, although he knew the answer. Iruka was a big brother figure to Naruto. "Ah, Sasuke. I'm guessing you came here to check on Naruto too, huh?" Iruka questioned. Sasuke nodded. "Yeah, I passed by Ichiraku's to see if he was there or had been there earlier. They said that they haven't seen him at all today." Sasuke's panic multiplied by 10. "And maybe he's just at my clan's training grounds?" Sasuke asked, sounding very unsure and scared. "That's a great idea, Sasuke. I'm sure that he's there." His plan worked because Sasuke let a small smile across his face. As they were leaving, Sasuke stepped out while Iruka closed and locked Naruto's apartment door. After that was done, Iruka put a hand on Sasuke's shoulder and gave him a warm smile. Once they arrived at Sasuke's clan compound, they both tensed for a moment. They were desperately hoping that Naruto would be there. The only other place he would be was with the Hokage. Iruka made a mental note to check to see if he was there if he wasn't in the training grounds. When they reached the training grounds, they couldn't spot Naruto. Sasuke immediately went pale. He feared that something happened to his only friend. He had just made a bond again, and it was once again taken away from him. Am I just cursed to be alone? Maybe he's with the Hokage. Sasuke could only nod. He was currently hoping that the worst hasn't come. Please be safe, Naruto. As Iruka and Sasuke walked towards the Hokage's office, they were both tense and quiet. Fearing the worst, but hoping that he was fine. As they knocked on their leader's door, Iruka and Sasuke both mentally begged for Naruto to be inside there. As the door opened, they both scanned the room, quickly trying to find the blonde bundle of joy that they knew as Naruto. Hope was quickly dwindling each millisecond that they couldn't spot the Uzumaki. When they scanned the entire room over 3 times, they concluded that he was missing. Fear, worry, dread, and anxiety immediately flared in the students' and teachers' hearts. Hokage-sama! Have you seen Naruto? Iruka yelled out, panic overriding his fear of yelling at the Kage. No, Iruka, why is something wrong? The Hokage stood as he questioned him. What's wrong with Naruto-kun? We don't know where he is, sir. He wasn't at school today and he wasn't at his house, Ikaraku's, or the Uchiha's training grounds. Iruka rambled out. That is concerning. Let me see. The elder Hokage said as he pulled his crystal ball out of his desk drawer. Setting it down on the table, he activated it and tried to look at what Naruto was doing. But it never turned on, meaning that Naruto wasn't anywhere near the Leaf Village. Boo! The Hokage yelled out. After his personal ANBU guards dropped down, he proceeded to give orders. Get me Falcons, Foxes, and Dragons squad immediately. As the ANBU left to fulfill their orders, the Hokage let out a heavy sigh. Iruka-kun, Sasuke-kun, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Naruto is currently missing. If he's out of reach from my orb, he could be a day or more away. Sasuke dropped to his knees. He was now far from his reach. We got to find him. Let me go searching for him. The Hokage let out a shaky breath. He was currently trying to put up a tough front, but inside he was panicking and in sorrow. I've failed you yet again, Naruto-kun. When we get you back, please forgive this old fool. Hiruzen thought as a tear rolled down his cheek. I cannot let you do that, Sasuke-kun. You're not even a genin yet, I can't send you out. What if we lose you too? I don't care. I just want to get Naruto back. He could be in danger. Sasuke yelled at the aged leader. Sasuke! Don't talk back or yell at the Hokage. Iruka took in a deep breath to calm him down. He was in a maelstrom of emotions. As he was about to ask Hiruzen a question, the ANBU came back in. The Hokage immediately stood up and started to give orders. Naruto Uzumaki is currently outside of my orb's viewing range. That means he's at least a day or more away if he was running without rest. We can assume he was either taken or left by his own will. The latter, however, is very unlikely. Your mission is to find and retrieve him. Any means necessary. Hi, Hokage-sama. They all yelled before heading out to start their mission. After the ANBU left, the 3 people remained in silence. Sasuke couldn't believe that his best friend had been taken, or possibly left on his own free will. He wouldn't and couldn't believe the last one to be an option, though. Iruka was left speechless and depressed. His student, no little brother, had been kidnapped from the village without anyone noticing. How could they have done it so quickly? Just yesterday everything was fine. It was like any other day, and yet it was the day that Naruto Uzumaki went missing. Sarutobi looked at the two with a heavy heart. He was supposed to be looking over Naruto, and he was taken by Hiruzen's lack of attention to the blonde. After taking a deep breath from his pipe, he blew out the smoke, then spoke to the heart-broken duo. You two go home, please. The only thing we can do now is hope that Naruto is alright and wait for his arrival. He is stubborn and strong, so he'll be back. I'm sure of that. He told them with a small sad smile. The two looked at each other and nodded. They would stay strong for Naruto and wait for his arrival. Exiting the room, they both had the same thought cross their mind. Please be alright, Naruto. -2 months after Naruto's disappearance. It's been 2 months since Naruto's disappearance. His disappearance had been wearing down on Sasuke and Iruka. The rest of the class also missed the intelligent blonde too, but not as much. Kiba was one of the least that missed the blonde. Naruto was one of them. He was actually someone Kiba considered a friend. Up until he decided to turn into a smart ass and leave him as the dead last in class. Naruto was everything Kiba could be, if he wasn't so lazy and stubborn. But instead of making the wise choice and try to improve himself, he decided to wallow in self-pity and hated the blonde for his success. He had heard endless nagging from his elder sister and mother about why he couldn't take a page out of Naruto's book and actually try in the academy. With Naruto now gone, Kiba finally had a break from all the nagging. He was worried for the blonde, of course. He wasn't a complete ass. But he did take advantage of the blonde's absence. With Naruto gone, his grades suffered drastically. All Kiba had to do was put in a bit more effort, and he became second to the dead last. The dead last was currently once again Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke had reluctantly taken the top spot in class. He, however, didn't want it. He convinced himself he was only holding that position until Naruto got back. He had to stay strong for Naruto. If he returned, when he returned, he would help the blonde to take his mantle back. As weeks passed by and Naruto had yet to return, he had once again slipped into his cold personality. He was only his normal self around Irika because only he understood what he was going through. Together they would be there waiting for the blonde. Hinata was the second best in class now. She was a bit more pleased with her ranking in the class, but she did feel bad for the blonde. All the work he put in, all the effort, only to be kidnapped and reset back to the dead last. She gave a small prayer for her fellow classmate to return safely and alive. He was going to be a future ninja of the leaf, a comrade. In the back of her mind, she hoped he was all right. When it was announced to the class that the blonde was currently missing, there were a few cheers coming from a couple of civilian kids, all praising that the monster, demon, and whatever names they could call him, was now gone and missing. After a scolding from Irika, he sent them outside of class so he could punish them later. Sasuke wanted to beat the crap out of all the kids that insulted Naruto and cheered for his disappearance. Meanwhile, the rest of the class had offered silent prayers for his safe return. As each day passed, the students' hope for the blonde's return was dwindling. Meanwhile, Mizuki was always seen wearing a smile on his lips. -5 months after Naruto's disappearance. Their hope for Naruto's return was being tested. Sasuke and Irika had begged Kami for Naruto's return each and every day. Every day after school, the two would go and check Naruto's regular places where he would be. Training grounds, Ichiraku's, his apartment, and the Hokage's tower would be visited by the two. It has been 5 months since the ANBU squads have been dispatched to find Naruto. And they have yet to return as well. That was promising and yet terrifying at the same time. It could mean that there were leads on where Naruto was being held, or that the ANBU squads had met their demise possibly along with Naruto, or that Naruto had already been killed. Everyone that cared for the blonde was hoping that they were close to locating and bringing home Naruto. Sasuke was getting more and more depressed as time went by. He wasn't this depressed for a long time. His daily schedule would be to show up to school and then head home to train. Sometimes when Irika had free time, he'd go and train with Sasuke. Their worry for the blonde had only gotten their bond stronger due to Naruto's absence. They heavily relied on each other to keep them from entering a deep depression. Sasuke was also very worried that when Naruto returned, it would be after the Genin selection exam. If the time came and Naruto wasn't there, he was fully prepared to fail just so he can be on a squad with Naruto. He cared deeply for the blonde, not wanting to be further separated once he returned. Once he does return, Sasuke is going to be watching over him at all times so that nothing like this can happen again. The Genin exams were a month away. Everyone was excited about becoming a ninja, excluding Sasuke of course. All of Sasuke's fangirls wanted to be on his team, all of the guys didn't want to be on his team. Sasuke only wanted Naruto to be on his team, so he's willing to wait till he comes back to become a ninja. Sasuke looked out the window and let out a sigh. Where are you, Naruto? A month later. It was a week till the Genin selection exams and Sasuke was internally panicking. There was still no news on Naruto's location or anything. Irika was putting on a strong front for the class, but Sasuke knew how he actually felt. He was a broken mess, much like himself. He was always struggling to pay attention to class. His mind would be swarmed by thoughts of what Naruto was being forced to endure. He was having one of Naruto being tortured while being strapped to a chair. Shaking his head to clear those horrible thoughts away, he focused back on Irika. He was going over what was going to be on the Genin selection exams. As he was going to dismiss class, there was a knock on the door. Irika went to open the door and was surprised to see an ANBU there. Hello ANBU-san, how can I help you? Hokage-sama requested your presence, Yumino-san. The ANBU replied and looked around the class until he spotted Sasuke. You as well, Uchiha-san? Hope and fear instantly washed over both of them. They turned to look at each other and nodded. Alright class, you're dismissed. After all the students left, Irika and Sasuke made their way towards the Hokage tower to see the aged leader. Once arriving, Irika knocked on the door. Hearing confirmation to enter, they opened the door and walked in. You called Hokage-sama? Yes, Irika-kun. The Hokage said with a small smile. Irika-kun, Sasuke-kun. I have fantastic news. Both of them were filled with hope as a chill made its way down their spines. Naruto has been found and returned. He's currently resting in the hospital. Sasuke was filled with joy, so much that his knees gave out, making him fall. Irika let out a few tears of joy and choked out a sob. The Hokage himself had a few tears in his eyes. They were all relieved that Naruto had made it back safely. He had been brought back to his family. However, the Hokage continued with a heavy heart. He was extremely malnourished, and had cuts and bruises all over his body that weren't healing. We assume that something the kidnapper did to him is preventing Kyuubi from healing the boy. You'll be able to visit him tomorrow. The Hokage let a small smile across his lips. He'll be fine though. He's too stubborn to stay down. Iruka let out a soft chuckle. Yes. Yes, he is. Iruka stood up and bowed towards Hiruzen. Thank you, Hokage-sama, for bringing back my little brother. You're welcome, Iruka-kun. I'm happy to have my surrogate nephew back as well, Hiruzen said with a small smile. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Can he come back to the academy soon? Will he be able to become a genin? Sasuke blurted out the last two questions. He wanted to know if he could graduate alongside his friend. If he is healed enough by the time, then yes. If not, then I should be able to push back the exam for him, the leader told the boy. Truth is, he'll kill me if I don't let him become a genin. The Hokage chuckled as the two snorted. Alright, you two can go home and rest knowing that he's finally back to us. Hi, Hokage-sama. The teacher and student replied. After they left, the aged leader could only smile at how much the two cared for Naruto. I'm so glad he has those two. Kami forbids something happens to those three. With Naruto. Naruto woke up to find himself in a hospital bed. He bolted up thinking they were going to do that to him once again. His eyes started to water up recalling the events of last time. He remembered the pain he felt coursing through his body. Naruto felt rage boiling in his stomach. He hated them for doing that to him. When the door opened, he threw all the ki he could muster at the person who opened the door. This caused the people to fall on their knees, instantly terrified and turn pale. The second they opened the door, they fell on their knees due to an insane amount of pressure from somewhere. Sasuke and Iruka were currently on the floor trying to get up, to do something. However, before they could try anything, the pressure disappeared and they were tackled to the ground. Hard. I missed you guys so much. Naruto shouted through tears that were pouring out of his eyes. Please. Please don't let them take me. Not again. Naruto was starting to hyperventilate. Calm down, Naruto. Iruka yelled. You're hyperventilating. Naruto. Calm down. Sasuke tried to calm down the blonde. Seeing that the boy wasn't going to calm down, Iruka chopped him in the back of the neck. After he was knocked out, Iruka gently lifted him and placed him back on the bed. Now that both of them were getting a good look at the Naruto, they can see what the Hokage meant. Naruto's body had greatly taken a hit due to him being gone for all that time, and not to mention what else he was put through. He no longer had the fit lean muscles he once had. No, now he barely had any muscle. He was so skinny that his bones could easily be seen. He was also deathly pale, almost white as a sheet of paper instead of his usual tan skin. What happened to him? The two thought to themselves. He'll be fine. Iruka and Sasuke turned around and saw the doctor that was assigned to Naruto. Will he be able to come to the academy this week? Sasuke blurted out. Yes. He should be fine after 2 days here, the doctor said as he walked up to Naruto's bed. He wouldn't stay any longer than that anyways. Turning to look at Iruka, the doctor continued. Iruka, I need to have him eat plenty of food to regain his strength. Once he's out of here, watch over him and make sure of that. Understood, sir. Alright. Get going, you two. His visiting times are over anyways. Leave him to me, I'll make sure he's better, the doctor told them with a smile. Naruto was left alone after the doctor did his checkup on the blonde boy. After waking back up, he stayed on his back staring at the ceiling. What he had been through had deeply affected him. However, he didn't want others to worry about him. He can't let them know. No one can know, I'll keep it in, and act like everything is fine, Naruto thought to himself. A tear rolled down the side of his head. Yes, everything is fine. It was the day of the Genin selection exam, and Naruto came back to class for the exam. After he was released from the hospital, he was quickly trying to gain the muscle that he had lost. When he entered the classroom, everyone laid eyes on him. Most of his classmates had let out a sharp and loud gasp when they laid eyes on him. Everyone was shocked to see him in such a state. His classmates were shocked to see Naruto looking so terrible after 2 years of improvement. The Hyuga heiress felt bad that all his improvement went away in just 6 months of being kidnapped, and probably worse. Naruto was trying to make his way to his desk when he was suddenly tackled onto the floor. He looked down to find the assailant to be his classmate, Ryo. She had long black hair, violet eyes, and suntan skin, and was the same height as Sakura. She always had a secret crush on the blonde, and these past few months that he's been gone have severely made her worry for him. Thank goodness you're okay, she sobbed out. Where were you? Naruto was shocked to have someone care for him other than his surrogate siblings. He had others that cared deeply for him, and here was one of them bawling their eyes out from relief that he was alright. Why, yeah. I'm fine. Are you sure you're ready to take the selection exams, Naruto? You could always wait till next year and get stronger. Iruka asked. No, sensei. I'm taking the exams and I'm going to pass so I can be by Sasuke's side. He told Iruka and nodded to Sasuke. Alright then. Iruka smiled at all his students. Let's begin with the test. Midnight. Mizuki had been furious when he laid his eyes on the blonde. He and another had kidnapped Naruto from his apartment and delivered him first-hand to the traitorous Sannin after being promised strength beyond his dreams. With Naruto back in the village, Orochimaru might not give him what he promised. During the selection exams, Mizuki used his position as a teacher to lower Naruto's scores in order to fail him. After he did that, he went up to Naruto and proposed a second test that could guarantee him the genin rank. After giving Naruto his instructions, the blonde took off to fulfill them. Mizuki had to stay with the other Chunin and academy teachers so as to not arouse suspicions against him. When it was announced that Naruto had stolen the scroll of ceilings, Mizuki barely stopped the grin that was threatening to split across his face. After faking to search for Naruto for about 10 minutes, Mizuki rushed towards the location he told him to meet up at. When Mizuki arrived, he spotted Iruka lecturing Naruto about stealing from the Hokage and the scroll of ceilings of all things. After he listened to their conversation for a bit, Mizuki decided that it was time for him to commence his actual plan. My Naruto! Great job on the test. Did you manage to learn a jutsu? Mizuki asked, faking an innocent tone of voice. You bet, Mizuki-sensei. I actually learned 3. Naruto shouted, causing both Chunin to look at him with their jaws dropped. 3? Mizuki shouted out of anger. How could you learn 3 so quickly? Easy. Naruto's cheerful attitude changed and was replaced by a much more serious one. I'm not so naive anymore. After finishing his sentence, 2,000 clones of Naruto jumped out from where they were hiding. When they surrounded Mizuki, they all charged and threw punches, kicks, and backhands. Once they were all done, Naruto had them all dispel themselves except 2 clones. Those clones would carry Mizuki back while Naruto walked towards the Hokage's office. After dropping off Mizuki to Tianai, Naruto and Iruka made their way to the Hokage's office. When they arrived, the door opened and the two saw a random jonin walked in and saw their old leader with a smile on his face. So Naruto-kun, how'd your first mission go? Their leader asked, surprising Iruka. Great, Hokage-sama. He was actually quite easy to handle. Are you sure he was a Chunin? Sadly, yes. Well, while we wait for the information from Mizuki courtesy of Ibiki, why don't we discuss the 2 jutsus you learned, Naruto-kun, and the 3rd you're learning? Ahaha, so you found out about that, huh? Naruto awkwardly chuckled as he rubbed the back of his head. Why, of course. I do have my crystal ball after all. He pulled out the blue crystal ball that allowed him to watch over Naruto plenty of times. Hey, alright. He turned to Iruka and explained. I said I learned 3 to make Mizuki more angry that I could learn 3 jutsus so fast. The more angry someone is, the more likely they'll be blinded by it. He shrugged. I learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu and Team Selections Day. After 4 days, the students were due to come back to the academy for the team selections. Once people started to fill in the classroom, they spotted Naruto sitting next to Sasuke chatting. Kiba decided to walk up and bug the 2 friends. Hey, failure. This is for genin team selections. Not for failures. Kiba said smugly, which caused Sasuke to chuckle. Naruto, however, just sat there wearing a calm face. Kiba, are you blind? The blonde said, confusing the Inuzuka. Well, I guess so. Guess you're just as stupid as I remembered. I'm sad to hear that with all the time I was away, you haven't gotten any smarter. The dog boy was now turning red from anger. When he heard snickers from some of the class, he was also red due to embarrassment. Look at this. This is a leaf forehead protector, meaning I'm a genin of the leaf. Go bother someone else now. With everyone laughing at Kiba, he could only feel anger surging through him. He was his better, he was the best. How dare he make fun of him? He grabbed the back of the blonde's shirt and pulled him out of his chair. When he had Naruto on the floor, he cocked his fist back and tried to punch him in the face. Naruto dodged Kiba's punch aimed at his face and kicked Kiba off of him. Oh, you want to fight? He shouted as he stood back up. Take back what you said about me. Take it back. Kiba got back up and crouched low to the ground, preparing to attack him once more. Now! As he lunged forward, Sasuke tried to step in to stop the fight. Naruto saw him and signaled for him to sit back down, which he reluctantly did. As Naruto dodged the Inuzuka once again, Kiba saw that Naruto's chest was open. He aimed a kick towards the blonde's chest, only for the blonde to quickly catch his foot and throw him towards the wall. Right as he did, Iruka entered to see Naruto throw Kiba at the wall. "What's going on here?" he yelled out, making the two stop their fighting. "Hey Iruka-sensei. Naruto just came up and started a fight with me for no reason," Kiba yelled, making everyone look at him like he's stupid. "What? You came up to me?" Naruto argued back. "Okay, can someone else tell me what happened?" Iruka asked the others. "Troublesome," Shikamaru muttered. "Iruka-sensei," Kiba walked up and bothered Naruto. After Naruto answered his question, albeit rudely, Kiba retaliated by pulling Naruto out from his seat. After that, they fought for a little before you came in. "Yeah, Iruka-sensei," Sasuke said. "Kiba, watch that temper. Naruto, try not to fight anymore, please." "But I didn't start it," Naruto mumbled as he walked back to his seat next to Sasuke. "Keep it in. Keep it in." As Iruka was giving Kiba a lecture, Ryo walked towards Naruto and Sasuke. "Is it alright if I sit here?" she asked nervously with a blush. Sasuke looked at Naruto out of the corner of his eyes to see a small smile on Naruto's face. "Sure thing, Ryo-chan. You can sit next to me," Naruto said, making the girl blush harder but smile widely. "Okay, here are the team placements," Iruka said after making a speech about how he'll miss this class. Team 1 consists of. Everyone was listening intently for their names to be called. After some time, most of the civilian students were teamed up. That left mainly the clan heirs along with Ryo, Sakura, and Naruto. Team 7 consists of Sasuke, Uchiha Sasuke, and Naruto's head shoot up and they glance at each other. They both hoped that they'd be on the same team, and this was their moment to see. Naruto, Uzumaki, Sasuke, and Naruto shot their fist into the air as a victory signal. They then fist bumped each other as both were beyond happy that they were now in the same team. "And Hinata Hyuga. Your Jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake." "What? How come the loser gets paired with her?" Kiba yelled out, enraged that he wouldn't be on the same team as his longtime crush. "I'm not sure, Kiba. These teams were made by the Hokage. If you have a problem, take it with him. Although this team was mainly for balance, I'm guessing. The Rookie of the Year, Kuniochi of the Year, and the Dead Last of the Year. No offense, Naruto." None taken. I'm only dead last due to Mizuki and being gone for 6 months," Naruto said as he shrugged his shoulders. "Okay, on to the rest of the teams. Team 8, Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, and Sakura Haruno with Kurenai Yuhi. Team 10 is Ino Yamenka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi with Asuma Sarutobi as your sensei. Team 11 is Maravi, Ryo, and Tavi with Hansuki as your sensei. Ino, Sakura, and Ryo were devastated that they couldn't be on their crush's team. Naruto was a little bummed that he couldn't spend as much time with Ryo as he would if she were on his team, but he didn't mind as much. He would just hang out with her when they both have free time. "Well, this team is going to be unstoppable," Naruto told Sasuke. "Of course it will be, because I'll be on it," Sasuke said, mocking an arrogant attitude. Naruto smacked him on the back of his head playfully. "You may be my best friend, but that arrogant attitude is still highly annoying." He chuckled out with Sasuke joining him. "I just wish I was on your guys' team," Ryo complained. As Naruto was about to suggest that they could always hang out when they're free, he was interrupted by someone. "Hello, Uzumaki-san, Uchiha-san." The three turned their heads to see the person that was talking. "Looks like we'll be on a team together." "Ah, Hinata, it's you." Naruto flashed a smile at Hinata, making Ryo envy the brunette. "And yup, we'll be the strongest team out there, you know," Naruto said, making all the ones who heard him frown. "Okay, Genin, your Jonin senseis will be here after lunch. I wish you all a safe and outstanding career," Iruka said out loud with a smile and with watery eyes. Classroom. It had been 3 hours since everyone else had left the classroom with their Jonin senseis except Team 7. Sasuke was getting very impatient and mad at their sensei for being late. Hinata was also not in a good mood. She was upset that their sensei would be so late for something important. Naruto, on the other hand, was just sitting back. He was used to having to wait hours for anything, from both his regular life and from when he was kidnapped. After 15 minutes more, Sasuke had enough. "Ugh! Naruto! Fight me to pass the time," he yelled out, surprising the blonde ninja. "Now? I'd appreciate it if you two didn't brawl in the classroom," Hinata said. Yes, it's not a good idea to fight in the classroom. The genin turned their heads to find that their sensei had arrived and listened to their conversation. "Meet me at the rooftop by 5 minutes," he said as he disappeared in a poof of smoke. Shadow clone, Naruto noticed. As the three got up and made their way to the rooftop, Naruto caught something moving from the corner of his eye. What's going on? He thought to himself. Rooftop. Alright, now that you're all here, let's start with introductions. Name, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams, whatever you want to say. Kakashi instructed the students. Sure thing, I'll go first, Naruto said, still keeping an eye out for his surroundings, which Kakashi noticed. What's got him on edge? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like my best friend Sasuke, and brother Iruka and I. I also like all my other friends that I have, and I love ramen. I dislike snakes, he said with a scowl. My hobbies are training, watering my plants. This caught Hinata's attention. She didn't peg the blonde as someone who was patient enough to care for plants. Eating ramen and spending time with my friends. My dream is to become the strongest ninja in history. Okay. Sasuke, why don't you go next and introduce yourself? Kakashi said. Hi. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I like my friends Naruto and Iruka. I also like tomatoes. I dislike fangirls and traitors. My hobbies are training and spending time with my friends. My dream is to kill Itachi. He was interrupted by Naruto clearing his throat. Sasuke rolled his eyes and continued. With Naruto. And to become Hokage. He finished with a smirk on his face as he nodded to himself. Last but not least, the Hyuga heiress. Kakashi said. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I like my clan, training, taijutsu, and cinnamon buns. I dislike shrimp, and those that hurt others with bad intentions. My hobbies are training, gardening, and flower pressing. She looked at Naruto, who was also surprised to hear someone shared his hobby. He gave her a smile and a nod before she continued. My dream is to lead my clan as best as I can. And the Hyuga family isn't as messed up like in other fics, they are just highly stuck up. Well, with the introductions out of the way, we'll proceed to do your test, Kakashi said with a nice smile. Meet me at Training Ground 7, he said as his body flickered to the destination, leaving the genin behind. After around 10 minutes, the first to arrive was the Uchiha. Once he arrived, he turned around and waited for his friend to arrive. The second was the Hyuga, then the Uzumaki shortly after. You're not back to 100% Naruto, the Uchiha stated. Yeah, I know that. The Uzumaki panted out, then smirked. So you might finally have a chance of beating me now, he said, making Sasuke put him in a headlock and give him a noogie. Hinata, seeing this, rolled her eyes at the two boys and shook her head. Alright, we will now begin the test to see who becomes actual genin, and who will be sent back to the academy, Kakashi announced, earning confused looks from the children. I love this part. What do you mean, sensei? Naruto asked. You see these bells? All three nodded their heads. Well, whoever manages to get them will pass, while the one that doesn't get sent back to the academy, he said, sounding a bit too cheerful. Wait a second. Hinata and Naruto thought. There aren't any teams that only have 2 genin members. Sasuke was still oblivious to this fact due to only focusing on Kakashi's words. Now then, enough questions. Let's begin the test, Kakashi announced as he stood up and walked into the clearing. Ready? Start. All 3 genin jumped into the trees. Naruto went with Sasuke so they could make a plan, but also saw where Hinata jumped to. He made a shadow clone to go with her, and see if he could get her to cooperate with them. There's a trick to this test. It's made to separate us and work against each other, right? Teams are sup dash. Naruto! Sasuke whisper yelled at the blonde. Are you even listening? Oh, sorry. Naruto quietly chuckled and rubbed the back of his head. No, I wasn't. Ugh. Don't space out again when I'm discussing a plan, Sasuke chided him. Yes, sir, Naruto said sarcastically, making Sasuke scowl at him. Alright, well, back to what I was saying. So first you make a dist. Sasuke was interrupted by leaves rustling behind Naruto. Sasuke got into ready to fight, thinking it was his sensei that was behind them. He was surprised to see Hinata come through with Naruto guiding her. He looked between the clone and Naruto in confusion. I made a clone to go and convince Hinata to work with us. But why? Only 2 can pass. Sasuke-san, have you ever seen a genin squad with only 2 genin and a jonin sensei? I'm sure that he just said that to distract us from the real purpose of this test, Hinata stated, making Naruto nod his head along, having his earlier suspicions confirmed. Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines. Nice job, Hinata, he said with a warm smile. Thank you, however it was not that hard to figure out. Sasuke was a little ticked off because he hadn't figured that out. Okay, so what's the plan now, geniuses? The Uchiha questioned, a little irritated at the two. With Kakashi. He had given the genin 10 minutes before he grew bored. He focused his senses and tried to sense their chakra signatures. After finding all three hiding in the same tree, a smile grew on his face. Maybe this batch will finally be the ones. He decided to wait for the genin to come out and see if they attacked together. After a couple of minutes, Naruto dropped down from the branch while the others moved into their positions. Kakashi smiled at this because this meant that they had decided to work as a team. Finally, a team gets the purpose of this test. Alright, sensei. Prepare for those bells to be taken. He yelled as he created 6 shadow clones that charged Kakashi while the real one went around him. Once he was behind Kakashi, he hid in a bush for now. With all the clones surrounding him, they attacked Kakashi trying to hold him down. Kakashi was dodging the clones while also watching over the bells to make sure that Naruto wouldn't be able to take the bells while he was distracted. When one clone managed to trip him over, the rest proceeded to dogpile on him and held him in place. He was wondering why Naruto hadn't attempted to take the bells, until a yell broke him out of thought. Now Sasuke! After Naruto yelled out, a fireball came out of a tree that Sasuke was hiding in. Seeing that the fireball would collide with him, Kakashi substituted with a log. After avoiding the attack, Kakashi dropped back down to take Naruto out of the equation. His body flickered behind the blonde, attempting to take him by surprise. Only to be surprised himself when the blonde smirked and saw 2 Sasukes and 2 Hinatas come out of the bushes. He jumped back thinking Naruto used shadow clones and transformed a pair to appear as Sasuke and Hinata. He charged towards the genin and was now preparing to knock out all of them. When he reached them, the 2 Hinatas had jumped to fight him off first. Kakashi quickly noticed that neither were the real Hinata, as neither were using the gentle fist-style taijutsu. He quickly came to the conclusion that they were indeed Naruto's shadow clones. Well, Naruto, nice plan. Confuse me by making shadow clones and transforming them into your teammates. He praised the blonde. But now enough games, Kakashi said as he took out a Hinata clone. Naruto quickly made another shadow clone and had it transform into Hinata. As he was about to question the blonde on his plan, he was hit in his shoulder's chakra point from the back. Kakashi's eyes widened and he turned around to face what he thought was a Hinata clone, only to see Hinata with her Byakugan activated. He was trying to hide the real ones, Kakashi realized. He tried to kick her away, only for a Naruto clone to take her place by substituting with her. As he was about to charge after her, he had to dodge a kick that flew over his head. He looked back to see Sasuke sliding into his Uchiha Interceptor Fist Taijutsu style. Kakashi had to dodge another attack aimed for his head and saw that the perpetrator was Naruto. They're trying to get me trapped and overwhelmed, Kakashi realized and smirked. These genins' teamwork is pretty good. As the genin were all rushing towards Kakashi to attack at once and hopefully overwhelm him, the bell rang. Well, looks like no one got a bell. So you all pass, Kakashi said with a nice smile. Yes. Naruto yelled and hugged the closest person next to him, which happened to be Hinata. We passed. I knew that plan would work. He put her down and went to fist bump his friend. Of course it would, I helped plan it, Hinata said arrogantly as she dusted her clothes off. Well, good job, we are now officially Team 7. Our schedule will be missions at 6, then training afterwards. Well, that's all for today, CYA. Kakashi body flickered out of the training grounds to who knows where. Hehe, alright, anyone up for some ikarakus? Naruto asked his 2 teammates. No thank you, Uzumaki-san. I have to go report to my father, and do some training afterwards. Good day, Uzumaki-san, Uchiha-san, Hinata said as she started to walk away. Alright, bye Hinata. He yelled out to her. He then turned to look at Sasuke. How about you? Food, then training afterwards? Do you even have to ask? Sasuke said with a smirk. They both nodded and made their way to Ichiraku's for some ramen. Team 7 had shown up at Training Ground 7 waiting for their sensei so they could start on completing their missions. They soon got mad at their sensei for being tardy once again. Where the hell is Kakashi-sensei? Naruto growled out. Well, he was late to pick us up yesterday. We should have expected this. Hinata closed her eyes and sighed. She opened them again and looked at the blonde after he dropped himself on the floor. Uzumaki-san, what are you doing? Trying to meditate to calm myself down, the blonde responded as he closed his eyes and slowed down his breathing. Hinata turned to look at Sasuke and saw him laying down on the floor. She was about to question what Sasuke was doing, but soon stopped when she heard a poof. Naruto examined the shadow clone he created. He nodded, dispelled it, and created another one and did the process again. What are you doing now? Hinata asked the blonde in an annoyed tone. I'm using the free time we have right now to see just what exactly I can and can't do with shadow clones, he explained to the heiress. He nodded to himself and dispelled the clone again. Let's see what happens when I barely put in any chakra, he mumbled. Poof. Well, Hinata said. Standing where the cloud of smoke was, there was a shadow clone that could fit in the palm of a hand. Huh. Didn't know I could do this, he said, eyeing the clone. He picked it up by the scruff of the jacket at first, then he lightly placed it in his palm to examine it. Looks exactly like my normal clones but just smaller. I wonder if I can do this while splitting my chakra evenly into this one, Naruto mumbled. He dispelled the clone, held his hands in the ram hand sign, and split his chakra into the now mini Naruto. Whoa. I can force it to be that size. Naruto stopped and started to think. If I can make it smaller, maybe I can make a bigger clone? After doing the process once more, he looked at the Naruto clone that was the size of Kakashi. Naruto's face broke into a huge grin. Oh. This jutsu just got a whole lot cooler. The possibilities of this are endless. He let out an evil chuckle, scaring the Hyuga. With Kakashi. Kakashi was walking around and had stumbled into a training field. He looked around and saw Guy and Lee training. He immediately tried to turn and run, but it was too late. Ah. My youthful rival. Have you come to challenge me again? Of course you have. We still have yet to break the tie we are currently at. 112 to 112. I will not lose this time, Guy exclaimed. Huh? You say something? Ah. That hip and too cool attitude of yours infuriates me, Kakashi. Gi-sensei. Who is this person? Lee questioned Guy, with eyes strangely looking like stars. That my apprentice is Kakashi Hatake. My eternal rival. His hip and too cool attitude is very unyouthful, my mini-me. Yes, Guy-sensei. Mini-me? Yes. Guy cleared his voice and stopped yelling. I have taken an apprentice and turned him into a splendid ninja one day. He's even modeled himself after me. A mini-me. Ah. Kakashi responded. That's not a bad idea. But which student shall it be? Kakashi thought as he left the duo and started to walk towards his team's training grounds. When he was close enough, he jumped on a tree branch to observe his team. He saw Sasuke taking a nap on the floor. Hinata was curiously watching Naruto, and Naruto trying to use the shadow clone jutsu in unique but useful ways. I smiled and nodded his head. Perfect. Hokage's Tower. Well, hello Team 7. The Hokage greeted Team 7 with a smile. Hey old man. Naruto greeted the aged leader with his regular greeting. Kakashi lightly smacked the back of his head in a playful way. Now Naruto, show the Hokage some respect. He chided lightly. Hinata was staring at the blonde with wide eyes. How could he be so disrespectful towards the Hokage and get away with it? Hiruzen saw her confusion and explained the scenario. Now Kakashi, you know I don't mind Naruto-kun calling me that. He told the Jonin, who just nodded his head and went back to reading his book. Now I believe you're here for a mission. Yes? Hi Hokage-sama. Kakashi answered. Excellent. Now here's some D-rank missions to choose from, he said while he picked up a pile of papers and shuffled through them. We have some fences that need painting, some trash needs to be collected from a river, some dogs need to be walked, the Inuzuka's kennels need to be cleaned. Team 7's Genin groaned at the realization that D-ranked missions are nothing but chores. Naruto soon found the bright side to this disaster. Hokage-sama, Naruto said, shocking everyone in the room. Hiruzen soon understood that Naruto was trying to be serious and professional. Yes, Naruto? I would like to take on some spare D-rank missions, he said, shocking them all once again. Why would you want to take on more D-ranks? Iruka asked him. Naruto looked down and started to shuffle his feet. I need the money, he whispered out. He looked the Hokage in the eye and continued. I need to buy groceries, shinobi gear, more clothes, and anything that I'll need. And with them overcharging me, it's not easy to save. He muttered the last part, but everyone caught what he said. What do you mean they're overcharging you? Hinata asked before she could stop herself. Naruto let out a sigh and continued. They overcharge me when I go to buy anything. Only a handful of places don't. Alright Naruto-kun, but how are you going to finish them all? The Hokage asked, with everyone else nodding. Naruto simply smirked and put his hands in the cross-hand sign. Easy, old man, he said as he created a shadow clone. Shadow clones help a lot with tedious tasks like D-rank missions. Everyone's eyes widened at how they never realized how useful shadow clones could be. After the Hokage got over his initial shock, he started to curse himself out. A Hokage-sama? Kakashi asked. Instead of answering, Sarutobi gave Kakashi a single mission file, and Naruto 5. He quickly ushered them out, and proceeded to brood for the rest of the day. But left a shadow clone to do the work for him. With Team 7. Naruto and his teammates arrived at their mission's location. It was a fence that surrounded the academy. They had to reapply paint due to the old coat fading. Sasuke and Hinata let out a sigh while Naruto just made shadow clones to help. Alright, you all get the other side while my team gets this side. He instructed the shadow clones. You got it, boss. One shouted and the rest nodded their heads. Naruto nodded his head and looked down at the papers he had in his hands. I'll leave some more clones to help you two while I go finish these, he said while walking off and waving the papers. Catch you guys later? Naruto, wait a moment. Kakashi got his attention before he could get away. Why not make more shadow clones and let those take care of the other missions while you help your team? I guess you have a point there, sensei, he slowly said, a little disappointed he couldn't be alone. Alright. He created about 30 more shadow clones, making Kakashi's sweat drop at how he can effortlessly create more shadow clones than he can. He handed a shadow clone the paper that had the mission details on them. You all go finish these missions, then go collect the pay afterwards. After that, head home and clean up, he yelled, causing all of the clones to groan. After they all departed, Kakashi and Naruto started to walk back towards the rest of their team. Quite a unique one, aren't you, Chibi? Kakashi joked. Chibi? Naruto questioned. Yeah. You're younger and smaller than me. Kakashi shrugged. Plus you're literally like a chibi form of my sensei. Naruto stared at his Jonin sensei for a little longer before shrugging and dropping it. If you say so, he said lazily, causing Kakashi to smile. Yes, he's the perfect candidate. Project Minimi commence. He chuckled to himself. When they catched up to the other genin on Team 7, Naruto apologized for trying to leave them and started to paint the fence. His teammates nodded and Sasuke started a conversation with him while they worked. They occasionally asked Hinata's input on a subject, trying to get her to open up a bit more. Ne Hinata? Naruto called out to Hinata, gaining her attention. What do you usually do for fun? Well, I guess reading would fall in that category, she said after thinking for a few seconds. I don't go outside my clan compound a lot unless it's team or clan-related business, she said with a shrug. Well, how about we all go to Ichiraku's after this? Naruto asked. Hinata pulled out a pocket watch to check the time and nodded. If we finish early, then I would be able to make it, she told the blonde. The Uzumaki nodded with a smile on his face. You won't regret it. He went back to work to finish quickly. He created 3 more shadow clones to help speed up their mission. They finished after 10 more minutes thanks to Naruto's shadow clones. Alright, good job, team. Kakashi gave them a nice smile. We'll meet up again tomorrow. Same time. Later. He body flickered away. Well, alright, Ichiraku's, here we come. Naruto shouted in glee. You're coming, right, Sasuke? Can't. Naruto deflated, causing Sasuke to chuckle. Sorry, I need to do some stuff at home. Catch you later. He turned around and walked towards his clan compound. Naruto and Hinata watched his retreating figure. Naruto sighed and looked at Hinata. You still want to go? Hinata turned to Naruto and nodded. I don't see why not, she said, making the blonde cheer up a little. Alright. To Ichiraku's. At Ichiraku's. The 2 genin arrived at Ichiraku's and sat down waiting to order. They didn't have to wait for too long before Tucci and Ayam noticed their presence. Ah. Naruto, it's been a while since you've stopped by. Getting tired of us already? He joked, earning a gasp from Naruto. Get tired of you and Ayam? Never. Also, the ramen is absolutely amazing. Then why not stop by some more? Ayam asked with a pout. Naruto flinched as he remembered his long absence, but quickly calmed down so they wouldn't ask what's wrong. Well, it's just that I hardly have time. He lied to them. Also, I didn't have that much money. But with me being a genin and doing missions, that'll change. I'll try to come by more often. Well, alright. So what can I get you? And Ayam said, leaving the sentence hanging. Oh, this is Hinata Hyuga, my teammate and the heiress to the Hyuga clan. Nice to meet you too. Oh, I'm Ayam, she said with a smile. And this is my father, Tucci. Nice to meet ya. He waved. So you figured what you want to eat yet? Miso soup ramen for me, old man. Naruto shouted, causing Tucci to chuckle. I'll have the same, please, Hinata said after looking over the menu. All right, I'll have them ready in a bit, Tucci said as he started to make their food. Uzumaki-san, do you have to disrespect everyone? Hinata scolded Naruto in a whisper. You called the Hokage old man like you did with Tucci-san. Naruto laughed at her question, which annoyed the heiress. He saw that he angered her, and quickly put his hands up. Whoa, calm down, hee. Learn how to have some fun, he shouted while opening his arms wide. Hinata stared at him for a little bit before she shook her head. You should learn some manners, she shot back, making the blonde chuckle. I already learned them. I only use them when I want to. Plus, these people are like family to me. He looked at the counter and smiled. They accepted me when I was little and sometimes gave me some free ramen when I couldn't afford it. They'll always have my respect and loyalty. He finished and turned to the Hyuga heiress. She was left stunned and speechless. She could feel the honesty and sincerity in his voice. She couldn't help but give him a smile. But soon curiosity got the better of her. Uzumaki-san, what was your childhood like? Tucci and Ayam, who may have been listening in on their conversations, froze and looked at Naruto. The Uzumaki himself flinched and looked down, his mood now dampened. I'd rather not talk about it. Hinata looked at the blonde and realized that he was uncomfortable with answering the question. She really wanted to know. To her, Naruto was a mystery. One she so badly wanted to solve. But in due time. Perhaps when they get closer. All right, Uzumaki-san. My apologies for prying, she said. The blonde chuckled and soon his mood brightened once again. Don't worry about it, Hinata. It's okay. The food was placed down in front of the two, and he grinned widely. He immediately wolfed down the heavenly food, earning a chuckle from Tucci and a giggle from Ayam. Well, glad to see your hunger for ramen hasn't changed. Tucci laughed out as he took Naruto's bowl. And it never will, Naruto exclaimed. Where's your manners that you were talking about? Hinata scolded. Hee. I said I'll use them only when I want to. This place is practically home to me. Plus it helps me eat more ramen if I eat it quickly. Another bowl was placed in front of him, and he wolfed it down once more. Ah. Hinata shook her head at the blonde's behavior, and proceeded to eat her own ramen. After tasting a bite of it, she immediately fell in love with the taste and wanted to wolf it down also. Before she could, she got herself under control. I just scolded him for doing that, and here I am wanting to do the exact same thing. She mentally scolded herself. Hey. Naruto chuckled, making Hinata's blood run cold. He grinned at her, not making her any less worried. Hinata cleared her throat. Yes? Looks like you share my love for this food. He laughed out. Perhaps. She smirked at the blonde, whose jaw had dropped before he chuckled. So you do have a sense of humor. Maybe there's really someone under all that icy exterior. He joked as he poked her stomach, earning an EP. From the Hyuga. Everyone laughed at the yelp while Hinata blushed from embarrassment and anger. She slapped Naruto's hand. Don't do that again. She hissed at him, making everyone laugh harder. Naruto was laughing so much his sides were hurting. Ow, 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 ow. He turned to face Hinata. Sorry, Hinata, but that was funny, he said as he wiped a tear from his eye. No, it wasn't, Hinata mumbled out. I'm sorry. He apologized in a tone with all the humor drained. Hinata looked at Naruto and saw that he was being serious and sincere. She nodded at the blonde and forgave him. Apology accepted. Please refrain from poking me again in the future, she replied, making Naruto chuckle. Sure thing. Tucci placed ramen in front of Naruto. He nodded to him and played with the noodles for a bit. He smiled before downing the noodles in one go. Come on, Hinata, hurry up and finish so I can show you where I like to hang out. Hinata was confused by his sudden decision, but nodded her head regardless. All right, Uzumaki-san. -15 minutes later. Naruto had taken Hinata to the top of the Hokage monument. They were currently on the fourth Hokage's, Minato Namake's, head. Naruto was sitting on the edge of one of Minato's head spike, while Hinata was standing in the center of the fourth's head and was trying to call Naruto to come back. Naruto Uzumaki! Get back over here now! She yelled while clinging on to a spike of rock from the fourth's head, making the blonde chuckle. It's safe over here, he told her. He turned around and saw the overview of the village. He smiled, then shook his head. He turned to face Hinata again and stood up to walk towards her. Finally gained some sense and decided we should go. Naruto shocked his head, grabbed her hands and started to walk back to his previous spot on the edge. What are you doing? Don't take me over there. It'll be fun. There's such a nice view. He laughed out. Are you afraid of heights? Is that it? Normally no, but when I'm being dragged to the edge of a cliff, yes. She shut her eyes as hard as she could and waited till the blonde stopped dragging her. Okay. You can open your eyes now, Hinata. She slowly opened her eyes and was staring into the eyes of the blonde. Hee. You can let go and look at the village now. She looked down and saw that she was hugging the blonde tightly. She immediately let go and apologized. Why are you apologizing? It's fine. Hinata merely nodded and turned to look at the view of the village. Beautiful. Was all the Hyuga heiress could get out. She was left in awe at how beautiful the village looked from up there. Hinata barely noticed Naruto nodding before he spoke. Yes. Whenever I get mad or sad or whenever I want to be alone, I come up here and look over the village. It feels like I'm watching over the village when I do, he said with a small smile. Hinata turned and looked at Naruto. So your dream is to become Hokage? No. Hinata turned and looked at the blonde. He shook his head and continued. I'm not fit to be Hokage anymore. He pulled his knees into his chest and wrapped his arms around his legs. No one will approve of me for the position anyways. He looked up at the pink-colored sky due to the sunset. I'll just help protect the village. Without becoming Hokage. Hinata smiled and nodded. That's a nice and noble goal to have. She looked over the village. I'll do the same. After all, Uchiha-san has already claimed that, she said with a chuckle, causing Naruto to smile. Yeah. I guess you're right. He looked back down at the village, then to Hinata. It's getting late. We should start to head home. Right. Hinata nodded but couldn't help but feel a little down. After 15 minutes of walking, they arrived at the Hyuga compound. Hinata turned around and bowed to Naruto. Thank you for escorting me home, Uzumaki-san. I had fun today. Whoa, no need to bow to me. He joked and smiled. I had fun today too. We should do this more often. Indeed we should. She gave him a smile before the blonde started to turn around. Well, good luck on the clan training and good night, Hinata, he said as he started to walk away. Thank you and good night, Naruto-san, she whispered with a blush on her face before turning around and heading inside her clan's compound. Team 7 were in the mission assignment room after delivering Tora the cat back to the Fire Lord's wife. After seeing the cat get squished by the wife, Naruto felt guilty about bringing the cat back to her once again. However, a mission was a mission, no matter if the cat was only kind to him. Kurama had been cracking jokes about how that was probably the only he would get, which turned the blonde red from embarrassment and anger. Team 7 had grown a lot closer over time, which helped improve their teamwork. Due to their teamwork being great, Kakashi actually took the Genin's training seriously. He had them follow a workout plan, made them improve their chakra control, which Naruto needed quite badly ever since he had been kidnapped, and also gave them some jutsus to master. Kakashi gave Naruto the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu to master. He concluded that if he could master this jutsu, he would instantly be a way more dangerous foe. If Naruto coupled his shadow clones with the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, then he would instantly be considered B rank, or so. Sasuke was given Fire Style, Flame Bullet to add to his list of Fire Elemental Justice. He was going to expand the boy's jutsu repertoire, but at a later date. He had enough time to improve the boy's stealth skills first. Sasuke's stealth skills weren't bad per se, but they were the weakest in the teams. Hinata had a really good stealth skill due to her Byakugan. She could watch over everyone and adjust her position so that no one would spot her. However, Naruto's was the best of his teams. He was almost as good as Kakashi, which didn't surprise the Jonin all that much. He had been Konoha's biggest prankster after all. He would sometimes even outrun and hide out from some ANBU. Lastly, Hinata's improvement over time has been great. She had improved her gentle fist taijutsu style and even started to learn how to do 8 trigrams palm rotation. It's a Hyuga secret taijutsu technique only known to the clan head and the clan heirs. Kakashi has helped improve her speed tremendously by making her and the others wear training weights all the time. She improved her precision by practicing on Naruto's shadow clones, since Kakashi can't spit them out like they're nothing. Back to the current time, however, Team 7 was about to be assigned another D-rank mission. But Sasuke has had enough with these menial chores. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, can we get a real mission for once? These D-ranks are just chores. We can't really improve if we just do chores. The Hokage nodded his head at Sasuke's words. It was true, you can only do so much with D-rank missions. However, C-rank and up missions can easily take a turn for the worst. Nonetheless, the genin would eventually need to go out and do higher rank missions. He looked at Kakashi for his opinion on the choice. What do you think, Kakashi? Are they ready? I'd say so. Their teamwork is outstanding for a genin squad that just graduated this year. That was expected from these two, he gestured to Naruto and Sasuke, who beamed at the compliment. But they added Hinata to their flows so well that it was like she was always training with them from the beginning. Very well. Iruka, can you bring in Tazuna? The Hokage asked Iruka, who was his assistant for now due to the academy being out. Iruka nodded and turned to his old students and gave them a warm smile. While Team 7 was waiting for their client to come in, Sasuke decided to strike up a conversation with Naruto. So Naruto, got anyone that you're interested in? I'm not sure, what about you? Naruto asked with a knowing smirk. He had seen Sasuke checking out one specific girl these past few days. And no. Sasuke answered with a blush, which quickly disappeared, and he continued to drill Naruto. Oh, come on, Naruto, there has to be someone you like. Hinata had found herself wanting to hear his answer. When she realized this, she immediately stopped and questioned herself. What am I doing? Why do I care? Just as Naruto opened his mouth, Hinata unconsciously started to listen to the two again. However, he didn't get to speak as the door opened and Iruka came in with a client. These kids are my bodyguards? Some damn kids? Their client named Tazuna questioned the Hokage. Hey! We're perfectly capable of defending a drunk like you, Sasuke snapped. And just because we're kids, doesn't mean we're weak, he said as he crossed his arms. Sasuke, calm down. Naruto chuckled out. Tazuna, our mission is to protect you while we travel to the land of waves. We're perfectly able to protect you, and we will at the cost of our lives if we have to, he told the drunk with confidence flowing out of the blonde. Well, alright. I'll hold you up to that, kid, Tazuna said, making Iruka frown at the man's words but kept quiet. Alright, team, Kakashi said, gaining their attention. Pack supplies for a few weeks and meet up at the gate in an hour, he told the genin, receiving a nod from all of them. -3 hours later. They have been on the road for about 2 hours after meeting up at the gate an hour after they left to pack. They were chatting with Tazuna and found out that they also had to stay and protect him while he was building the bridge. Naruto was mainly asking the questions due to Hinata staying silent and Sasuke still upset with Tazuna from earlier. So how big is this bridge going to be again? Naruto questioned the bridge builder. It's going to be a super bridge since it connects waves to the mainland, Tazuna replied with passion. Okay, that didn't answer my question though, Naruto thought to himself. As he was about to say something else, he sensed 2 chakra signatures up ahead. He looked around and spotted a puddle in the trail ahead. Naruto looked back at Kakashi to make sure that he wasn't the only to see it. When he saw Kakashi look up from his book and nodded, signaling that he was aware of the threat, Naruto looked back from his sensei to his 2 teammates. They were unaware that the enemy disguised themselves as a puddle. He didn't want to say anything to them yet, as the enemy shinobi would clearly hear him, so he decided to hope for the best and wait till they made their move. When Team 7 passed the puddle, the shinobi came out of the genjutsu puddle and attacked Kakashi first. They wrapped their chains around the jonin's body and then they pulled hard, effectively killing him by slicing him up to bits. Hinata and Sasuke screamed out their sensei's name in horror as he was killed right in front of them. Meanwhile, Naruto jumped into action. Naruto grabbed 5 shurikens from his pouch and proceeded to throw them at the demon brothers. When they left his hands, he sped through hand signs, and when he finished, he shouted out the jutsu's name: Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. The 5 clones multiplied into 50, making it impossible for the demon brothers to dodge thanks to the chain that was connected to the 2 of them. Seeing no other way, they dropped the chain and jumped away in time to avoid the onslaught of shuriken. Naruto was still fighting with one of the demon brothers. Sasuke jumped in to help assist Naruto. With the mist ninja's eyes on Sasuke, Naruto reflexively pulled out a kunai, infused it with chakra, and threw it towards the ninja, aiming for his head. The mist ninja never saw the kunai before it buried itself deep into his skull. The other brother went after Tazuna. Seeing that they were after Tazuna, Hinata jumped in front of the bridge builder and slid into her gentle fist stance to defend him from the enemy shinobi. Before the mist ninja could strike, however, Kakashi appeared and caught the ninja in a headlock. Nice job, guys, Kakashi said, beaming with pride for his genin. You handled 2 mid-chunin without much difficulty. This surprised the genin. Their adrenaline was running out. So Tazuna, is there something you want to tell me? Kakashi said menacingly. Finally, with the adrenaline not pumping through his body, Naruto had time to think about the fight. He then realized that he had taken a life. Immense guilt washed over him. Yes, sure, his opponent was his enemy, but did he really have to die? Yes. Kurama! You're talking again. Only because I sensed what you're going through. What you did was the right thing, Naruto. If he were to live, who'd stop him from killing someone else? Or doing other terrible things? I'm still not sure. This guy could have changed. What right do I have to take that chance away? While you're right, he could have changed. But most people aren't like you, Naruto. You're one of a kind. Others are selfish, power-hungry, greedy, little monsters. Naruto. Naruto was brought out of his conversation with the Bijou by Kakashi calling his name. When he turned to look at Kakashi, he ruffled Naruto's hair. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Chibi. But you protected Tazuna and Sasuke. They could have been seriously injured or worse if you hadn't done that. He's right, Kit. Sometimes taking out bad people is better than letting them live, Kurama added. Naruto let out a sigh and nodded his head. He would continue on with a clear head for the remainder of the mission. He can deal with the guilt afterwards. As the group went back to traveling, Naruto took the lead so he could be alone and tried to keep his head clear. When they arrived at the boat that was going to carry them across the water, Naruto and Hinata had to share a seat while Sasuke and Kakashi shared a seat. When they arrived at the other side of land, the boatman dropped them off and fled. They were making their way towards the Tazuna's house, when suddenly Naruto felt a presence. He threw a kunai into a bush where he felt the presence coming from. When they arrived at the other side of land, the boatman dropped them off and fled. They were making their way towards the Tazuna's house, when suddenly Naruto felt a presence. He threw a kunai into a bush where he felt the presence coming from. Only for a scared rabbit to be there, shaking in fear. Way to go, Naruto. You scared a rabbit. Sasuke chuckled. Kakashi saw the color of the fur the rabbit had and immediately connected the dots. Everyone get down! Kakashi yelled as he tackled the bridge builder to the floor. While Naruto tackled Sasuke and Hinata. They were on the floor in time to see a large broadsword shaped like a butcher's knife come flying at them. When the sword embedded itself into a tree, a man body flickered on it. The man was a tall and noticeably muscular man with light grayish skin, short spiky black hair, dark brown eyes, and no eyebrows. He was wearing bandages like a mask over the bottom half of his face, and he wore his forehead protector sideways on his head. Well, if it isn't Kakashi of the Sharingan. Zabuza spoke. It'll be fun taking you out. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the hidden mist. Missing Nin for attempted murder on the Mizukage. Master of the silent killing, and wielder of Kubikiribocho, one of the 7 swords of the mist. Ah, so you've heard of little Oelmi? Zabuza chuckled out. Yes, and you've got quite the bounty. I'll be collecting it once I take care of you, Kakashi retorted. Well, let's just see if you can. Hidden mist jutsu. A huge mist soon covered the group. They were unable to see anything past 5 feet from their faces. Genin! For a triangle around Tazuna! Kakashi yelled at his team. Kit! Kurama called Naruto. Yeah, Kurama? Let me play with this fool. Demon my ass. I'll show him a real demon. Kurama smirked evilly. Just tell that sensei of yours that I'll take over for a bit. Alright, Kurama. Naruto turned to Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, Mr. Nine is going to take care of this. Just hang back and protect the others. Naruto said as he was stepping towards Zabuza. Kakashi's eyes widened when he heard what Naruto was planning on doing. Naruto, no! You can't let him take over! He yelled, only for it to fall on deaf ears. He was unaware that the Kyuubi, the strongest of all tailed beasts, had taken a liking towards Naruto. Relax, sensei. Sasuke chuckled. Him and Mr. Nine are friends. He explained to Kakashi and left him greatly confused. Before any could say anything else, there was a heavy amount of killer intent thrown at them. Haha! You think you, a simple genin, can stop me? The demon of the hidden mist? Zabuza laughed out. Well, I'll give you this, you've got courage, kid. As Hinata and Sasuke were struggling to deal with the killing intent that was sent their way, it was countered, making it easier on the genin. They turned to thank Kakashi, but when they saw a confused look on his face, they knew it wasn't his doing. Hee. Demon of the hidden mist. That's a nice name. Let me introduce myself then. Naruto spoke out with his voice getting deeper as he talked until he sounded like the Kyuubi. Kakashi, Hinata, and Tazuna were scared, while Sasuke was smiling and started to relax a little. I am the Kyuubi, the greatest and strongest of all the tailed beasts. And you insult me by claiming to be a demon. He snarled using Naruto's body. His eyes change color to red and his pupils become slitted. His nails and canine teeth grow longer and sharper. Naruto's hair also grows longer and spikier, and the whisker-like marks on his cheeks widen and thicken and took a more feral look. Sensei. Hinata called out to Kakashi. What's happening to Naruto? She said, out of worry for her blonde teammate. That's something I can't tell you. If you want to know, then you'll have to ask him, Kakashi said seriously to the female genin. But if he tells you, know that it is an S-rank secret. Telling anyone else would result in death. Hinata could only nod and look back at Naruto. There's more to you, Naruto-san. Much more, apparently. Naruto/Kurama was walking towards Zabuza, like a predator stalking his prey. Now, Kurama said through Naruto. Let me show you a real demon. Kurama then blitzed towards Zabuza, preparing to play with his prey. Kurama lifted up Naruto's arm preparing to strike down at the missing Nin, but was blocked by Zabuza's sword. Nice speed, but it's not enough to stop me, he said, only for Kurama to smirk. He grabbed a hold of the blade, and yanked it from Zabuza's grasp. Let's see how you are without your toy, Kurama said as he got down on all fours and started to bubble out some of his chakra. When it stopped, it took the shape of a cloak with ears and a tail. Shit! Zabuza cursed when he saw the bijou cloak around the blonde. If the Mizukage had the 3 tails, how much stronger is the 9 tails? His question was answered when the blonde managed to land a punch on the former Miss Ninja right in the chest. The punch managed to crack a few ribs, one almost punctured his lung, and sent him flying back into a tree that broke in half. Humph. I didn't even put my back into it. Kurama shook his head in disappointment. Alright, well, since my toy is now broken, I'll just put it out of its misery. As Kurama was walking towards Zabuza's down body, 2 ice senbons buried themselves into the side of the blonde's neck. The rest of Team 7 and Tazuna's eyes widened in horror. The perpetrator then dropped from the tree and grabbed Zabuza. I'm sorry about your friend, but I think we'll take him, the masked man said before disappearing via body flicker with Zabuza and Naruto. Naruto! They all shouted at the top of their lungs. They all had a solemn look on their faces. They had failed to protect their comrade. With Naruto. After waking up, Naruto realized that he had been tied up and came to the conclusion that he wasn't with his team. He looked around and saw Zabuza, who had bandages that were now wrapped around his chest, and a masked ninja. What is it that you want? He asked with venom laced in his voice. Calm down. We want to make a deal. Confused by his response, Naruto continued. What's the proposition? You help us take down Gato, and you'll get a cut of his money, along with whatever's in his vault. Can't you two just do it? Oh, of course we can, he said, which just confused the blonde. But this is also like a tryout for you, he said, not explaining any further. Okay, he still didn't let his guard down. How long will that take? Depends on how fast you work. The faster you take down Gato and his men, the faster you get to go back to your team. What happens if I say no? He asked curiously. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the masked Nin remove his mask and make an ice saban. I will remove your ability to have children before killing you. Naruto and Zabuza flinched and looked wide-eyed at the ice user. Haku, how many times have I told you to stop saying that? Zabuza tiredly said. You mean he's done this before? Naruto whispered as to not annoy the brunette that threatened his jewels. Zabuza nodded and changed the topic. Alright, well, are you going to try out or quit? Will I keep my balls if I say no? Haku shook his head. Then of course I'm trying out. Let's get going. Haku nodded, approached Naruto, and cut the restraints that kept him from running. Naruto rubbed his wrist, trying to get the blood flow back through them, as he stood up. Okay, lead the way. Gato's mansion. Haku and Zabuza were in a tree watching Naruto stroll towards Gato's mansion. They would watch how he handled this massacre and decide whether he was ready or not. What do I have under my jutsu belt? Let's see. Naruto began to talk to himself as he strolled up to the mansion. He spotted the guards but kept walking. I of course had Shadow Clone and the Exploding One, Shuriken Shadow Clone, Great Fireball thanks to Sasuke, and Great Breakthrough. I think I'll use the stealth option. Shadow Clones, he said as he made 2 clones come in existence after making the necessary seal hand killed the 2 guards. He nodded his head and had the clones transform to look like the guards. He kept repeating that process as he slaughtered his way towards Gato. He would poof shadow clones into existence, and then take the thug down and replace them. It helped surprise other thugs and lower their guards long enough for Naruto's clones to strike. Zabuza and Haku were left stunned. Who knew shadow clones could be so useful? He was taking out the thugs that Gato had hired with ease. Of course, they weren't any threat to anyone except civilians, but the ease he was taking them out in is what surprised the two. Zabuza had made up his mind. This kid is indeed a one-man army. As Naruto finished killing and replacing the last few of his thugs, he had them explore the whole mansion. He would take anything and everything that he could. While they looked around, the real Naruto would go and find Gato. He wandered the halls a bit, and took out any thugs that slipped by beforehand. He finally found Gato's room if the golden door he was facing was any indication. He opened it slowly and found the midget asleep with women in skimpy outfits surrounding him. He walked slowly and quietly towards the women and shook them awake gently. He placed a finger on his lips so they could be quiet and told them he was here to get rid of the midget. The joy and relief he saw in their faces made him happy but also made him want to kill Gato even more. As the women were getting off the bed one by one, Naruto replaced them with clones so he wouldn't wake Gato just yet. After all the women were gone, Naruto dispelled the clones that were on the bed at once, waking Gato up in the process. As he woke up, Naruto started to slowly walk towards him with disgust and fury written all over his face. When Gato opened his eyes, he was met with a boy with blood-red slitted eyes. Who are you? Gato stuttered out. When Naruto didn't answer and instead kept slowly walking towards Gato, the midget started to panic. What do you want? Money, power, women? I'll give you anything. Where's your vault? Naruto shouted out in rage. It's behind that painting over there. Gato pointed over to a large painting of himself. Go open it. Naruto ordered him. After Gato did so, Zabuza then dropped down and killed the pathetic little vermin. They then went into the vault and started to pack everything up. Zabuza was mainly packing the cash, Haku was going through a few scrolls, and Naruto was looking at everything else that was in there. As they were going through all the riches Gato kept in the vault, Naruto noticed something out of the corner of his eyes. He went over to it, and noticed that it was a giant scroll. He also noticed it had the same swirl that was on his jumpsuit. What's that? This question caught Kurama's attention and decided to see what he was talking about. When he spotted the item that piqued Naruto's curiosity, his eyes widened. Naruto, that scroll belongs to the Uzumaki clan, your clan. Naruto's eyes widened as well. Had he heard the fox right? Did he just say it belongs to the Uzumaki clan? His clan? His family? I have a family, he said with tears sliding down his cheeks. Zabuza heard him speak and turned to face the child and was surprised to see tears. Why are you crying? If you feel bad about killing all those people, don't. They were worse than monsters, Zabuza said, trying to cheer up the blonde. Haku turned around in time to see Naruto shake his head in denial. No. I'm not feeling bad about that. I just found out I had a clan of family, he said with a smile. What do you mean? Of course you had a clan. You're an Uzumaki, right? Zabuza asked. Naruto nodded his head. The Uzumaki clan were outstanding users in Fuinjutsu. They also possessed an outstanding amount of chakra as well as an outstanding life force. They typically lived to be older than 100. Haku told the boy, who was left stunned. That was before Kiri, Kumo, and IWA decided to just wipe them out. They brought over 100,000 shinobi for about 5,000 Uzumakis, and left with about 1,000. They feared the Uzumakis because of their talent in Fuinjutsu and their Kenjutsu skills, Zabuza added. The land of whirlpools isn't so far from here. We could go check it out if you want, he also offered. Naruto thought about it before he could agree right away. He would keep his team waiting for him longer. Although this will probably be his only chance to learn more about his actual family. I'm in. Let's hurry up and go. Land of Whirlpools. After they finished raiding Gato's vault and mansion, they made their way to the Land of Whirlpools. Naruto had found a few more things belonging to the Uzumaki clan, therefore belonging to him. He had found out that the big scroll was one of the Uzumaki Kenjutsu scroll. He knew there were more because the one he found had a kanji for 2. They traveled via boat that they had borrowed from Gato. When they arrived, Naruto was sad to see that what Zabuza had told him was true. The Land of Whirlpools was devastated. Most of the buildings were reduced to rubble, and the ones left standing were beyond repair as well. All but one. Hey, there's still one standing, Zabuza said with a surprised look on his face. Let's go check it out, Naruto told the two. As they were walking towards the building, only Naruto could walk through as a barrier had come into view when Zabuza and Haku tried to enter. Guess only someone with Uzumaki blood can enter. We'll wait out here, go ahead, kid. Naruto didn't need to be told twice. He turned back around and headed in the building. After an hour later, he came back out with 2 giant scrolls hanging on his back. Let's head back now. Thank you for everything, Zabuza, Haku. I don't know how I'll repay both of you, he told them with a smile. He reached down and picked up the other scroll he found in Gato's vault. You'll pay us back by helping us take down Yagura, Zabuza told him. The way you took down Gato's lackeys, you could do the same for Yagura's lackeys. And we could use your help fighting a Jinchuriki since you are one. Naruto thought about it. He wants to help the rebel forces against an oppressive Kage that happened to be a Jinchuriki. Yagura wasn't giving them a good name, so he nodded. Right. Naruto nodded his head. If we're going to be facing a Kage perfect Jinchuriki, we'll need to be as strong as possible. I'll remove the seal tonight. Naruto, Zabuza and Haku were heading back towards the Land of Waves to drop Naruto off before they departed. Zabuza looked over at Naruto and saw that he was still carrying the 3 large scrolls on his back. Here, kid. He handed Naruto a storage scroll. Put the scrolls in that so it'll be easier to carry. Well, alright. Naruto did as he was told and sealed the 3 scrolls. Thanks, Zabuza. No problem, brat. After a couple minutes of walking in silence, Zabuza had an idea come to him. Hey, you know what? Here. He tossed Naruto 2 more storage scroll. What's these for? He asked. Open that one later. And open the other one when you get home. That's the share of the cut you get that I stole from Gato's vault, he replied. They soon got close to the town and the 2 Kirinin decided it was time to go. Hey, brat. We'll come pick you up when we need your help. Till then, CYA, Zabuza said as his body flickered away. Till we meet next time, Naruto-san, Haku said with a smile before he too body flickered away. Naruto smiled and started heading into town. As he walked aimlessly for about 15 minutes, soon realized something very important. He didn't know where Tezuna's house was. He looked around and decided to ask around. He walked up to a lady in a clothes store, with barely any clothes. Excuse me? Naruto said, getting her attention. Can you tell me where Tezuna lives? The lady looked at Naruto for a little bit before she answered him nervously. I'm sorry. I don't know. She lied to the blonde. She was scared that the blonde was working for Gato and sent him to take out Tezuna. Oh, okay. The blonde responded and went to the next person to ask for directions. Only to get the same outcome. The process repeated until Naruto got frustrated and went towards a wall and leaned on it to try and calm down. He was rubbing his forehead as an attempt to stop the headache he knew would be coming soon. He dropped his arms to his sides and his left arm hit the other scroll Zabuza had given him. He decided to check out what the missing Nin had given him and unsealed the contents of the scroll. What the hell? He yelled out, causing many eyes to land on him, which soon widened. Why would he give me his head? I don't want to remember how his face looked when we killed him. Naruto muttered to himself, but was loud enough for others to hear him. Wait! You killed Gato! A man exclaimed and rushed over to his side. How? He exclaimed in awe. Others heard the man's exclamation and rushed towards the blonde that was holding Gato's head as proof of the man's claim. The gathered group all started to mutter. The mutters consisted of how a single boy could take down Gato to how could they be scared of Gato if a single boy could take him out. SHHH. How is he supposed to explain if you all are shouting over him? The man yelled. After everyone quieted down, the man faced the blonde once again. Alright, can you please tell us how you took down Gato? Sure. Naruto shrugged. He proceeded to tell them how he did it, although a little tweaked to exclude Zabuza and Haku's involvement. And I let all the ladies escape while I killed this trash, he said as he held up Gato's head. Everyone was in awe at the blonde's description of his pretty much massacre. They all cheered for the blonde and started to praise him, much to Naruto's embarrassment. Hey kid, what's your name? One of the men shouted excitedly. The name is Naruto Uzumaki, he yelled out proudly. Let's hear it for Naruto. Na are you too? Na are you too? Na are you too? They chanted as they lifted him up and started to march around town. With Team 7. The rest of Team 7 had been down in the dumps after the masked Nin had taken Naruto with them. Kakashi summoned his dogs to chase them, but in the end their effort proved futile as they oddly couldn't track his scent. Hinata tried to locate Naruto with her Byakugan, but her efforts too weren't enough to find them. Hinata had felt an empty feeling within herself which confused her greatly. She knew that feeling was tied with Naruto's disappearance, but she couldn't pinpoint the feeling. Sasuke was probably the worst off. He slipped back into his Avenger phase where he only thought about killing the person responsible. This time his target was Zabuza and that masked Nin. Tazuna and Tsunami both felt sorry for Team 7. They had lost a member of their team, they had lost a member of their family. They remembered how it felt to lose Kaiza. Inari never smiled after that happened. When Team 7, minus Naruto, and Tazuna arrived at his house, it was nightfall by the time they arrived. After explaining everything, they all ate the food Tsunami had prepared for their arrival. Not long after that, the family went to bed while Team 7 had trouble sleeping due to being guilt-ridden. They were so entranced in their own thoughts that no one heard Inari make his way down the stairs. He had been looking over the ocean from his window when he started to hear cheering coming from the town. He made his way down to question his parents about the noise. "Mom? Grandpa?" Inari called out. "What's all that noise from the town?" Team 7 flinched and instantly shot up, thinking that the ruckus from the town was due to an enemy. "Did it sound like something was wrong in town, Inari?" Kakashi questioned. Inari shook his head and continued. "No, it sounded like they were cheering for something." Everyone was left baffled by the boy's response. "Well, why don't we go into town to check it out?" Tazuna said with a shrug. Kakashi turned to look at his team and saw them nod to him. "Very well. Let's go." With Naruto. After marching around town with Gato's head now on a pike that one of the townspeople had happily given to him, Naruto was now watching the happiness the townspeople were in after hearing about Gato's death. He had thought over his actions that he did in Gato's mansion. He had initially felt nothing, but as he was retelling the story he couldn't help but feel awful at what he had done, though he hid it. How could he have taken so many lives like it was nothing? "Do we have to go through this again?" Naruto heard Kurama grumble inside of his mind. Feeling Naruto's confusion, Kurama elaborated. "You're feeling guilty about killing those disgusting humans. Stop it. They chose to live like scums, so they die like scums. If they were given a second chance, who's to say that they will?" But there was a chance dash. "No. Humans aren't very accepting of change. They are greedy, disgusting creatures," Kurama said as he made a sour face. "Hey, I'm human too," Naruto thought as he scrunched up his face. "You're special," he replied. "You managed to get me, the Kyuubi, to trust and accept you. You have a good heart. But in this world you'll have to take some lives." Naruto felt his heart soar at the praise but fell when he heard that killing would be a necessity. Kurama could feel the emotions the blonde was going through and decided to help. "The very fact that you feel guilty after killing those monsters means you're human. Means that you don't enjoy killing. You're not a monster." Naruto could feel the fox's emotion at the moment, and accepted his words. "Neither are you." As Naruto felt the fox's shock, he focused back out of his mindscape and found 4 girls his age had surrounded him while he was talking with his friend. "Oh hey guys." He awkwardly chuckled and rubbed the back of his head. "What do you need?" Instead of answering, the girls smiled. The smile of a predator that cornered their prey. Naruto's eyes widened and looked around to see that the crowd was too busy to notice his predicament. He turned back around to see the girls stepping closer to him. Naruto's only move was to whimper while Kurama laughed loudly. With Team 7. Kakashi was walking towards the center of town when he heard the chatter that Inari was talking about. The town was much more lively than it was last time they stopped by. His curiosity piqued and decided to eavesdrop to find out the reason. "Really? Was it really that boy?" one of the men asked. "Yes," a lady responded cheerfully. "That boy was asking something around town, and then he pulled out Gato's head out of a storage seal." Kakashi was shocked to hear that someone, a boy no less, could take down Gato and his men. He stopped his team and Tazuna from walking further. He turned and led his team towards the woman. "Excuse me? You said a boy took down Gato?" Kakashi asked the lady. He saw the fear in her eyes, but it disappeared as she saw Tazuna accompanying him. She smiled brightly and nodded. "Yes, I did," she said happily. "Who's this boy?" Tazuna asked with a sour face, disbelief written all over his face. "Naruto Uzumaki." Team 7 and Tazuna were left dumbfounded. Immediately Kakashi broke out of his stupor and looked at the lady with a hopeful and desperate look in his eyes. "Please tell me where he is." The lady softly smiled and nodded. "Let me take you to him instead." After about 5 minutes of walking in tense silence for Team 7, they came to a sight that made the men chuckle while making Hinata turn red in anger and embarrassment. They saw Naruto swaying slightly surrounded by a few girls with lipstick lip marks all over his face. Hinata started to stomp her way over to the blonde, but faltered for a second when she heard Kakashi mutter something about lucky blondes. As Hinata was making his way over, Naruto caught sight of her and his teammates. He smiled widely and got up from where he was sitting, much to the girl's disappointment. "Hey there, Hinata-chan," he said happily, unaware of the honorific he added to her name. The girls that surrounded the blonde looked depressed after hearing him call her that. Hinata, on the other hand, just grinned at their reactions. Instead of responding to Naruto, she just engulfed him into a hug. "We were so worried about you, Naruto-san." Naruto's mood darkened at realizing that his disappearance had caused his team great grief. "I'm sorry," he said as he returned the hug. He opened his eyes and looked at Sasuke and Kakashi. They got the message and nodded. Naruto let go of her after a few seconds and grew perplexed as to why Hinata was still hugging him. Before Naruto could ask a question, Hinata let go and backed up with a frown on her face. "How do you plan to make this up to us?" she asked with a stern face. "It wasn't my plan to get kidnapped," he protested. He froze when he heard many gasps from around him, and he mentally face-palmed. "I'll tell you later at Tazuna's house, preferably in the morning because I'm sleepy," he said as he yawned. Sasuke chuckled at the blonde's antics and went over to stand next to him. "Glad to have you back, Dobe," he said as he lightly slapped Naruto's back. Naruto smiled at the playful greeting and nodded his head. He turned his head as he saw Kakashi making his way over to him as well. "Please try not to get kidnapped again," Kakashi said with a smile hidden behind his mask while ruffling the blonde's hair. Naruto smiled and his heart soared at knowing his team cared for him so deeply. "I'll try, sensei," he said with a warm smile that portrayed his happiness and tiredness. "Alright, Naruto, I think it's time to get you to bed," Kakashi said with a chuckle. Naruto didn't realize how tired he really was. He had adrenaline coursing through his body since he had been kidnapped by Zabuza and Haku. Now with the danger gone, so was his adrenaline, and he was left exhausted. He nodded to Kakashi and turned to the townspeople. "Sorry guys, but I have to go get some rest." He earned groans from some people, mainly from the girls that were gathered around Naruto early. They would have asked to accompany him to bed, but the look Hinata gave them froze them in their tracks. "See you guys tomorrow," Naruto said as he turned and started to follow Kakashi, only for Kakashi to give him a piggyback ride. "Mama, calm down, Chibi. You did a cool thing by taking out Gato by yourself. I can't let you get too cool, I'm supposed to be the cool one," Kakashi said after Naruto tried to squirm himself out of Kakashi's piggyback ride. "But I'm already cooler than you, sensei," Naruto replied as he started to relax. He closed his eyes and ended up falling asleep on Kakashi's back. "Ah, he looks so cute," one of the girls that surrounded Naruto squealed. She got up and tried to mail her way towards the Uzumaki, but stopped when Hinata gave her a death stare. Everyone laughed at the sight. With Gato gone, the Land of Waves can now recover. Team 7 and Tazuna took Naruto back to his place so he can rest and recover from his impromptu assassination mission. After Kakashi placed Chibi down on a spare bed, he turned and faced Hinata. "Care to explain what that was all about?" he asked in an amused tone and with a smug grin. Hinata looked like a deer caught in headlights and started to sputter. "There's nothing to talk about," she managed to reply as she exited the room. Kakashi and Sasuke chuckled at her excuse. Sasuke looked back down at Naruto's sleeping form, got up, and exited the room. Kakashi soon followed his student's decision to leave and to let the blonde rest. What no one noticed was that while Naruto was tired, he wasn't asleep. He merely went to his mindscape to talk to Kurama. When he arrived in his mindscape, he saw Kurama sitting close to the cage that sealed him. "Kit, this thing needs to go if you do plan to fight in the war," Kurama told the blonde. Said blonde nodded and stood up from his sitting position that he was in seconds ago. He stood and made his way towards the gate. He stopped when he was in front of the gate. "How am I supposed to reach it?" the blonde questioned. Kurama answered his question by lifting him up with the water that was in his mindscape. "Oh, alright." He reached for the seal, and just as he grabbed the seal, he was tackled back to the floor of his mindscape. He faintly heard Kurama gasp, which confused him further. "What are you doing here?" Kurama asked in a curious and disbelieving tone. Naruto looked at the perpetrator, and he too gasped at the sight. "The fourth Hokage? What are you doing here?" The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, smiled at the little blonde boy. "Yes, Naruto, I'm the fourth Hokage, and I'm here because I'm the one that sealed the Kyuubi into you." "I'm so sorry, Naruto," the blonde said with a sad smile. "How do you know my name?" Naruto asked. "Easy. I'm the one who named you Naruto," the man said with a smile. "I'm your father." MIFF father? Naruto stuttered with a suddenly very dry throat. When he saw Minato nod his head, Naruto could only fall on his butt from shock. How did I never notice? He said in disbelief. Yes, Naruto, I'd prefer if you didn't let anyone know but those you trust with your life. If other villages knew you were my son, they'd send assassin attempts constantly to try and kill you to get to me. Oh, and please tell Yugao and Kakashi that you know of your heritage now. They'd be more than happy to help you out when you need it. They were supposed to be your surrogate older siblings. Kakashi-sensei? What would he know of my heritage? And who's Yugao? Naruto asked confused. They were supposed to be looking after you. Minato explained. Wait, did they not look after you? Naruto shook his head. How about Jiraiya or Tsunade? Naruto shook his head again, making Minato let out a heavy sigh. So what happened? Minato asked, but dreaded the answer. Well, I was in the orphanage when I was young, but after 4 they kicked me out. Minato cringed at hearing that. Then I spent around like 5 weeks sleeping outside. After that the old man found me, apologized, then gave me an apartment. Naruto was about to continue when Kurama interrupted him by moving and started to project his memories in the mindscape. After all of his younger days finished, Naruto cut it off just before his 6-month disappearance. Wow, I'm shocked no one noticed you weren't my son besides the ones that knew beforehand. We're pretty much twins, except you have whisker marks. The Namikaze chuckled. Naruto could only nod. Naru, why were you taking off Kyuubi's seal? He asked as he crouched down next to his son. Naruto shook his head to clear his mind so he could answer his father. I need his help. I'm going to be fighting a perfect Jinchuriki soon, but I'm not sure when exactly. He said as Minato's eyes widened after he finished speaking. You're going to fight a perfect Jinchuriki? He yelled out. Why? What happened? I'm going to help the Kiri rebels in overthrowing the Mizukage. Since I'm also a Jinchuriki, hopefully I can be of some help. You're fighting the Mizukage? Yagura? Naruto nodded at his question. But why? Naruto let out a sigh. I want to help get rid of a monster, he said as he walked towards the Kyuubi again. He held his hand out, and Kurama lowered his head so Naruto could rub his head. An actual monster. Minato was shocked at what he was seeing. His son had managed to befriend the Kyuubi at such a young age. He sealed the Kyuubi hoping one day that this would happen, but he thought that the day would come way later. Alright, Naru. He placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. How can I help? Well, you can help me by not stopping me from taking the seal off. Naruto joked as he tried to reach for the seal again. He was shocked when his father had lifted him up to help him reach the seal. Hey, what are you doing? Helping you reach the seal, he replied cheerfully. His smile dropped and his face took on a solemn look. I'm sorry, Naru. I wanted the people to see you as a hero, for protecting them from the Kyuubi. Guess it didn't turn out the way I hoped. Naruto couldn't help but smile at his father. Sure, he might have ruined his life within the village, but he wanted nothing but the best for him regardless. He wanted the villagers to see him as a hero. That's alright, Dad. He ripped off the seal and the gates opened, releasing Kurama. Naruto felt the power rushing through him. The power of Kurama's chakra was so potent, Naruto almost passed out from it. Kurama walked past where the gates were, and lowered his head to meet Naruto. He smiled at the blonde and lightly pushed his nose into him. Thanks, Kit. Naru, Minato said, gaining his attention. Promise me you'll be safe. Please. I don't want to see you in the afterlife just yet. It's still too soon. He joked, causing Naruto to chuckle. Minato's face lit up as an idea struck his mind. Naru, I want to give you something, but I'll have to use up the rest of my chakra to do it. Which means I'll disappear from your mindscape afterwards. He smiled sadly. Naruto looked at his father sadly. So I guess this is goodbye? He asked in a depressed tone. Sadly, yes. Goodbye, my Naru-chan, Minato said as he hugged Naruto tightly. If this were any other time, Naruto would have pouted at being called that, but he just wanted to embrace his father, that he barely met. Goodbye, Dad. After a few seconds, Minato suddenly disappeared. No fading away, just disappeared. Naruto turned to face Kurama and smiled while wiping away the tears. I'm glad you're out, Kurama, Naruto said as the exhaustion became too much and he passed out. Kurama gently lowered Naruto down on the floor of his mindscape before forcing him out so he can sleep better. After doing that, Kurama turned around and walked back behind the cage's gate. I'll be feeding you a bit of my chakra. But it'll take a while before it'll convert to your own. Until then you'll be in a stasis state. Thank you, but why are you helping me? I care for the kid, and unfortunately his path won't be an easy one. When he gets close to the edge, that's when you and the other one will be there for him, Kurama said as he turned and walked back out of the cage. Kurama laid down slowly and closed his eyes to take a nap. Before he did, he had one last thought cross his mind. I hope what I fear is coming doesn't happen. This boy isn't like the rest, and if he were to change, I fear the outcome will be drastic. Next morning, when Naruto woke up, a wonderful smell reached him. He opened his eyes and walked down the staircase towards the kitchen in a daze. After entering the kitchen area, he saw that his team was already awake and eating. So food was prepared and no one decided to wake me up, he said in a mock-hurt voice. Everyone turned to him and deadpanned. We tried. You slept through all of our attempts at waking you up, Kakashi replied. Oh. Naruto chuckled nervously as he rubbed the back of his head. Sorry, he said as he eagerly sat down next to Inari and was practically jumping from excitement in his seat. Tsunami noticed his excitement and giggled at how cute he was. You look so cute, Naruto-kun, she said as she placed his plate down in front of him and pinched his cheeks before he could dig into his food. After a few seconds of that, she let go and walked back to her seat. Why so excited, Naruto-kun? The blonde chuckled nervously once again. Well, this is actually my first home-cooked meal, he said with a sad smile. What do you mean? Don't you have a family? Inari questioned. His mood had changed for the better after hearing the news of the blonde taking out Gato. He was much happier now that Gato, the person that had killed his father in front of the whole town just to make an example out of him, was now dead. The blonde's shoulders slumped, but he elaborated. No. I was an orphan my whole life. I never even got to know my parents. He let out a sigh as he started to eat. He knew that shouting out that the fourth was his father was a good way to get himself killed. Minato explained that he didn't want Naruto spreading out that information, and he had to agree. If Iwa or Kumo caught wind of that fact, he was surely dead. Oh, I'm sorry for asking, Inari said sadly. Nah, it's okay. I might not have known them, but I got a good feeling that they loved me a whole lot, Naruto replied as he ruffled the boy's hair playfully. Plus I found a brother figure in my old teacher Irika and I. So Naruto, how exactly did you take out Gato? Kakashi asked, trying to change the subject. Oh yeah? Well, first Zabuza and Haku kidnapped me. He then told them all that had happened when he was with Zabuza and Haku, but left out the part where he found in Uzushiogakure Forbidden Scroll and his trip to Uzushiogakure. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Kakashi-sensei, can I talk to you outside alone for a bit? Kakashi looked at Naruto a bit confused but nodded. Sure, Chibi, he said with a chuckle, but was surprised when Naruto lightly chuckled too. After finishing his food, Naruto nodded to Kakashi and went outside with Kakashi following him. So Naruto, what do you want to talk about? Kakashi asked after they walked a good distance away from the house. Kakashi-sensei, how do you know my dad? Naruto asked, which made Kakashi's eye widen. After sputtering for a couple seconds, Kakashi managed to get himself under control. What do you mean, Naruto? I don't know who your father was. He tried to lie, although it hurt him greatly. Naruto let out a sigh and transformed into the fourth Hokage using the transformation jutsu. After a few seconds, Naruto dispelled the jutsu and looked at Kakashi, who was whiter than a sheet of paper. How did YUFF find out? Kakashi stuttered out. Dad sealed some of his chakra into my seal somehow, Naruto said with a shrug. Oh, and he said that you and this Yugao person were supposed to be my surrogate siblings. So how come you barely entered my life as my sensei? Kakashi let out a heavy sigh before he answered Naruto's question. The damn elders were hellbent on making sure no one could adopt you or look after you. He gave Naruto a tired and sad look. I tried to fight for custody of you. Me and Yugao and even some clan heads did. But the damn idiots kept denying any requests made. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. Well, I understand the elders' part. But how come you didn't visit me or anything? He asked in a sad tone. It hurt Kakashi to know that he played a part in Naruto's pain. I was stuck in ANBU. However, I did get to watch over you when I wasn't assigned missions outside of the village. Huh? What do you mean? The Hokage assigned some ANBU members to always watch over you. Well, they sure did a great job, Naruto mumbled out. Kakashi, however, heard him. What do you mean, Chibi? And nothing, don't worry about it. So who's this Yugao person? Dad said you two would be like my surrogate siblings, but the damn council fucked that up too, he said in an annoyed tone. Yugao is an ANBU too. She's got purple hair and she's a really kind person, but very dangerous when she wants to be. She wanted to take care of you as well, but they wouldn't let her leave. The only reason I left was because I was forced to be Sasuke's sensei, Kakashi said in an annoyed voice. He then I smiled at Naruto. But luckily I managed to request you on my team. Oh, alright. I guess it's not your guy's fault. Well, I'm just glad that you're here now, sensei, Naruto said with a smile. I'm glad to see that you're not mad at me, little brother, Kakashi said with a nice smile. I like that, but I'd prefer Chibi in the village. Can't give any hints to my heritage now, Naruto joked. Good point. Let's get back to the house now. We'll have to watch over Tazuna just in case. Oh wait, here, give this a try, he said as he pulled out a spare orange book out of his Jonin vest pocket. What's this? Naruto asked as he opened the book to read a bit to see if he liked it. It's a spare book of mine that I always read. I thought you might like it. He looked down at the blonde, and saw him enticed in the book. Success, he thought to himself happily. As the two were walking back, they were both too engrossed into their books to start any conversation, so it was quiet the whole way back. They arrived at Tazuna's house after a while, and when they entered, Hinata walked up to Naruto and dragged him back outside. Everyone was confused by the Hyuga's sudden action. With Naruto and Hinata. Hey Hinata, what are you doing? Naruto asked, after pocketing his new book. He was confused as to why his female teammate was dragging him away from Tazuna's house. Too many people over there, I need to talk to you in private. After walking for a bit longer, Hinata released her grasp on Naruto. She faced him with a puzzled look on her face. She was trying to figure out the blonde before she asked any questions. She gave up after looking at his puzzled face for a few seconds. Naruto-san, just what was that back when you fought Zabuza? That wasn't you, that power seemed overwhelming. Hinata saw Naruto started to nervously shuffle his feet. Well, if you fear that I would tell your secret, don't worry. Kakashi-sensei has already told me it was an S-rank secret. If I were to tell another person without your permission, I'd be sealing my own death sentence. Wait. S-rank secret? Hinata nodded her head. Sensei said that whatever power you used was an S-rank secret. Naruto stared down at the ground with rage burning inside of him. If it's an S-rank secret, how come every villager knew about it besides me? I swear the old man better have a great excuse. And Naruto-san. Hinata barely stuttered out. Naruto looked at her and realized that she was struggling to stand or even breathe because of the amount of killing intent he was unknowingly releasing. He stopped releasing his killing intent and Hinata was left light-headed. She swayed a couple times before she started to fall. Only for Naruto to catch her. Sorry, Hinata. I didn't mean to do that. He looked at her with worry filled in his eyes. Hinata faintly smiled at him before she tried to sit on the ground. It's okay, Naruto-san. Can you tell me the secret now? Naruto tensed for a second before he reluctantly nodded. Alright. Might as well, since we are going to be teammates. After a heavy sigh, he told her his secret about being the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, and how the Kyuubi was actually nothing like they spoke about. He's nothing but a big furball, he said with a wide grin. He faintly heard Kurama grunt, which made Naruto grin wider. So is that the reason you are disliked throughout the village? Hinata asked. Yup. Pretty much, he said with a heavy sigh. Is that all? Yes, thank you, Naruto-san. She stood up and started to walk away when something caught her eye. She saw Naruto pull out a book with a smile plastered onto his face. Curiosity getting the better of her, she asked Naruto a question. Naruto-san, what's that book about? The blonde panicked and the book fumbled out of his hands. He quickly picked it up and placed it back in his pocket. And nothing, Hinata-chan. Come on, let's head on back. Tazuna is probably going to work on the bridge soon, he said as he started to pull Hinata towards Tazuna's house while jogging. However, Hinata's curiosity only increased more. It tripled even. Determination to figure out what the book was about, Hinata activated her Byakugan. She tried to focus in on the book, but caught sight of something else. She immediately blushed harder than she ever did and passed out soon after. Hinata! -1 week later. After a couple days of helping Tazuna finish his bridge, with Naruto helping by creating an impressive amount of shadow clones, the bridge was finally complete. Team 7 were on the bridge prepared to leave but were saying their last farewells. Do you really have to go? Inari asked Naruto. Throughout the few days they've known each other, Inari grew quite attached to the blonde. He came to view him as an older brother, and Naruto saw him as a younger brother as well. Yes, Inari. I'm afraid I have to go home. I'll try to visit when I can though, how about that? Naruto asked while crouching down to be Inari's height and was ruffling his hair. Inari nodded and hugged the blonde one last time, earning ahs from the crowd that had gathered to say farewell. After Inari let Naruto go, Naruto stood up and waved at everyone. "Thanks for a great time here. And thanks for welcoming me here," Naruto yelled, which earned him an applause and some shouts along the lines of "no problem, anytime. Of course, cutie." As he was about to turn around, he was surrounded by the fangirls that had surrounded the blonde when he first arrived in town. "You think you'll leave without goodbye kisses?" The braver one of the group asked the blonde. Before he had a chance to even nervously chuckle, they had already planted their lips onto the blonde's face. After releasing him, he was once again swaying back and forth. "Thanks," was all he said as he turned around and tried to walk towards his team. Naruto was so lightheaded, he never noticed the frown on Hinata's face or the huge smirk on Sasuke and Kakashi's face. The rest of Team 7 waved farewell at the townspeople. Hinata sent a few death glares at the girls that had the gall to do that to Naruto. After they were gone from sight, Tsunami spoke up. "So what should we name this bridge?" "The Great Naruto Bridge," Inari shouted, which earned nods and murmurs of approval from the townspeople. "Well, he did kill Gato," one of the townspeople said, which brought back the happiness in the town. Tazuna nodded. "The Great Naruto Bridge it is then." Later at Konoha. Team 7 had arrived in Konoha and gave their missions debrief to the Hokage. After receiving payment for the C rank that had been bumped up to an A rank, Team 7 was heading out to go back to their respective homes to rest. "Chibi, hold on." Naruto stopped walking and turned around. Kakashi laid a hand on Naruto, and body flickered to training ground 7. "Sensei?" Naruto asked, a little dizzy. "Again, I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you, Naruto." Kakashi started. After gaining Naruto's full attention, he continued. "But how about I teach you one of my sensei's jutsus?" he asked as he held his hand and an orb of spinning chakra came to life in the palm of his hand. "Whoa! What's it called?" Naruto asked as he felt excitement well up in him at learning one of his father's signature jutsus. Kakashi smirked and said its name. The Rasengan. A month has passed by after Team 7 had returned from the Wave Escort mission. They have been doing constant training and D-rank missions. Ever since they came back from the Wave mission, Kakashi had tripled their training. He had been worried sick over Naruto's well-being ever since he had been taken. Naruto had only been fine because of the Kyuubi, and the fact that Zabuza and Haku had no intentions of harming him. If they had been, he had little doubt that Naruto would be here. So by giving his 3 students better and harsher training, hopefully they'll come out tougher and stronger. Hopefully enough to either take out said kidnappers, or last long enough till backup arrived. He had increased their training, especially Naruto's, since they returned from the first C-rank turned A-rank mission. Of course, he had received complaints from the genin, especially Naruto, since Kakashi singled him out and was taking extreme measures to make sure that his little brother had learned not to repeat his last stunt in Wave. He was impressed, sure, but he was more angry that Naruto had gone and done everything himself. It seems he had to further drill the concept of teamwork into Naruto's head. "Sensei, see, can I please stop now?" Naruto panted out. Kakashi turned and saw Naruto on the ground panting from exhaustion. "Did you finish your exercises, Chibi?" "Yes, sensei." Naruto panted out, tired as hell. "Alright, you can stop." "Yes." "And move on to your chores." "No. Come on, Kakashi-sensei," Naruto pleaded. He was too tired to do his normal punishments. Ever since Team 7's return from the Land of Waves, Hiruzen and Kakashi had punished Naruto for his actions. Flashback. Team 7 entered the Hokage's office to give their mission report. Sasuke, Hinata, Naruto, and Kakashi all stood before Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. Each team member was giving parts of what occurred during the mission. "And a thick mist came over us," Hinata finished. Kakashi nodded, indicating that he'll take up explaining the rest of the occurrence. The mist was the hidden mist jutsu that was performed by one Zabuza Momochi. His goal was to take out the bridge builder, Tazuna. As I was about to step forward to initiate a fight with the missing Nin, Naruto decided that he would let the Kakashi left the words hanging, hoping the Sandaime would pick up what he meant. Seeing Hiruzen nod, he continued to debrief. Anyways, he handed control over to him, and he went and fought Zabuza. He was taken out fairly quickly, which I believe was due to shock and disbelief of Naruto being his carrier. After Zabuza was beaten, he was making his way over to finish the job. However, before he could, a pair of Saban flew and embedded themselves into the side of Naruto's neck, rendering him unconscious. The perpetrator then landed in between Naruto and Zabuza, grabbed them, and body flickered away. The Sandaime Hokage nodded and turned to face Naruto, who paled before taking a look of defiance on his face and looked away from him. "Is everything alright, Naruto-kun?" No, but we'll talk about that later. He let out a heavy sigh. After I was taken, I woke up to see myself tied up with Zabuza and Haku, the name of the hunter Nin. I asked them what they wanted. They explained that they wanted me to kill Gato, so they took me to his mansion. Once there, I killed all the thugs that Midget hired and replaced them with shadow clones while we were marching towards Gato's room. After reaching it, I sent the clones out to explore and take out any remaining thugs that I might have missed. I opened his door, freed the women that were forced to be his playmates, and Zabuza dropped down and killed him. I guess he sealed up his head after chopping it off, because after we arrived in town he handed me a scroll and told me to unseal that once I got into town. Naruto intentionally left out the part of visiting the land of whirlpools because as far as he was concerned, the third didn't need to know. Now at least. Sarutobi nodded and looked at Kakashi. Anything else happened after that? Kakashi looked up and tried to recall if anything special happened after that. Well, not really. The rest of my team were resting in Tazuna's house when his grandson, Inari, asked about the noise coming from town. We feared that Zabuza or Gato was making their move, so we went to see what the commotion was about. Lo and behold, that they were practically worshipping Chibi over here for killing Gato. When we found him, he was covered in lipstick kiss marks from the girls that were surrounding him. Kakashi told Hiruzen, which made him chuckle. Quite the first mission, wouldn't you say, Naruto-kun? Hiruzen asked with a coy smile. Naruto let out a deep sigh and faced his leader. Are we done, Hokage-sama? I'd like to have a word with you in private with Kakashi-sensei present. He asked in a bit of a cold tone. Sarutobi looked shocked and a little hurt. Naruto never called him by his official title. He would always call him old man, or Gigi. Hearing Naruto call him that, and in such a cold tone too, it made the old monkey frown. He nodded and faced Sasuke and Hinata, handed them their mission pay and spoke. Here's your pay for your recent mission. Since it was bumped up to an A rank, your pay was as well. You two are free to go. After they hesitantly left the room along with the A and B that were hiding in his office, Hiruzen activated his privacy seals. Okay, Naruto-kun, what would you like to discuss? I'd like to discuss about how my Jinchuriki status is supposedly an S-ranked secret, and yet every villager knows it. He shouted in rage. His anger and sadness was now unleashed. How come everyone but me knew about it? Tears threatened to fall down his face and soon did. And what about my family? I know who my father is now. When were you planning on telling me? Or were you going to tell me at all? Hiruzen was shocked and terribly hurt that he had unintentionally caused Naruto all this pain for so long. When Naruto said he knew who his father was, Hiruzen turned and glared at Kakashi. The masked nin just put up his hands in an act of innocence. Kakashi, did you tell Naruto? No, Hokage-sama. He didn't tell me. Naruto yelled out in anger. Hiruzen looked at Naruto confused. If he didn't, then who did? My father. The Hokage looked at Naruto as if he was crazy. Naruto took a moment to think of a half-lie. He placed some of his chakra in the seals so he would manifest if I contacted Kurama for too long. He said that it was in case he was trying to corrupt me. Me and Kurama explained the situation though, so he eased up. I asked him why he was there, and he told me the truth. All of it. Hiruzen let out a deep sigh before he looked up to Naruto with eyes that held nothing but regret and sadness. I'm truly sorry, Naruto-kun. I wished I could have told you about your lineage sooner, I truly do, however at the time you were loud-mouthed and sought attention in the wrong aspects. I was afraid if I were to tell you, you'd go around the village yelling it out from the top of your lungs from excitement and joy of knowing who your parents were. Naruto looked away, still mad, and huffed. You could have told me to keep it a secret. I can keep those, you know. Hiruzen smiled sadly and nodded his head. Yes, you might be able to now, but when you were still in the academy you couldn't hold yourself from spreading the news. If that were to happen, once your father's enemies caught wind of this, they'd stop at nothing until you were dead. After a sigh of defeat, Naruto turned and faced the Hokage once again. All right, old man, Hiruzen perked up at hearing Naruto's affectionate nickname for him. I understand your logic behind why you did it, but I can't help but feel betrayed. I'll eventually forgive you, but just not now. It'll take some time. Hiruzen was sad to hear that, but nodded his head. All right, I understand, Naruto-kun. What exactly did your father tell you? We talked about my early childhood, and he wasn't too happy about hearing his son live through that. Naruto shot Hiruzen a look, which made the old man frown sadly. But after his chakra essence? Whatever. After his time was almost up, he left me with this. He rolled up his sleeve to show a flying thunder god seal on his forearm, surprising Kakashi and Sarutobi. Guess he wanted me to learn how to use it. Hiruzen nodded his head and chuckled. Yes, I suppose so. But if you do manage to learn how to wield it, be cautious about where and when you use it. If any IWA shinobi caught sight of you using Flying Thunder God, they'll immediately connect the dots since you do look almost exactly like him. And not long after that, they'll start. Yeah, they'll start to send assassination attempt after assassination attempt. I know. Naruto looked at Hiruzen with a hard look in his eyes. I know that already. My dad told me the same thing. I won't go blabbing about who my father is. Hiruzen nodded and smiled. Glad to see you've matured, Naruto. Oh, did your father tell you about your mother? Naruto thought for a second before shaking his head. Guess my old man forgot to talk about her. I would too with all that happened. The Hokage smiled at Naruto. Would you like me to tell you about your mother? Naruto was shocked to hear Hiruzen say that. But then again, he already knew about his father, so why not learn about his mother? Sure, old man. Hiruzen smiled at Naruto, but before he could continue, Kakashi reminded the Hokage about something important. Hokage-sama, before you do that, remember about Naruto's punishment? Ah yes, I remember now. Thank you, Kakashi. What? What punishment? Why, the punishment of abandoning your team, and assisting a missing nin that at the time was against us, of course, Kakashi said with a cheerful tone. Wah. He's right, Naruto-kun. You might have done it for a good reason, but at the time it was considered a treacherous act, but only a minor one. Hence your punishment will be light. Naruto stood in place fuming but conceded nonetheless. He didn't want his punishment to get worse, so he wisely kept quiet and just nodded his head. Hi, Hokage-sama. Well, what should his punishment be, Kakashi? Kakashi hummed and thought before he snapped his fingers and faced the aged leader. Why not make him work at the academy after training? We could have him clean the bathrooms and classrooms in the academy. Naruto paled at the thought of cleaning the bathrooms in the academy. When he was attending the academy, even he didn't want to enter the bathrooms due to the state they were mostly in. Since he had only been out of the academy for a month, he concluded that the bathrooms wouldn't have changed much. He was correct. That sounds like a wonderful idea, Kakashi. We do need to fix up the state of the bathrooms. I've been meaning to assign that mission to a genin team, but none would take it. I wonder why. Naruto thought sarcastically. Hokage-sama, can I get a less severe punishment? Hiruzen shook his head in disagreement. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, but with this punishment you'll be sure to think twice before you make such a hasty decision next time, won't you? Naruto let out a sigh. Yes, Hokage-sama. Good, now you'll be doing it for about a month. Naruto nodded his head. Now I believe you want to hear about your mother? The Hokage asked with a smile. Yes, please, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi nodded his head, and tilted his head up as if reminiscing about something. Your mother was an amazing and yet a terrifying kunoichi while on the battlefield, and a loving and caring wife at home. He pulled out a picture from his desk and gave it to Naruto. *1. Naruto took a look at the picture of his mother and smiled while gently touching her face. She's so pretty, he said with a strained voice. He was trying hard not to cry, and yet was failing at covering it up. Kakashi placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder and gave it a squeeze. Yes, she was chibi. She was one of the kindest people I knew when she wasn't mad. Your mother and father practically adopted me after my father passed away. So we're really like siblings, huh? Naruto said rhetorically, still with a strained voice. Yes. Both of your parents accepted me with open arms. And I absolutely know, without a single shred of doubt, that your parents loved you with all their hearts. Naruto could only nod his head, not wanting to show too much emotion. Hiruzen saw and continued talking about his mother. She was one of Konoha's best seal masters. The Uzumaki clan was feared for their talents in Fuinjutsu, their large chakra reserves, long lifespan, and some had the ability to create adamantine sealing chains. Wait. Naruto interrupted. He was shocked about hearing that his mother had the ability and skill to create the adamantine sealing chains. It was one of the techniques that was enlisted in the first forbidden scroll from Uzushiogakure. However, Naruto had to fake the shock of finding out he had a clan. I have a clan? My mother had this ability to create chains? And long lifespan? How long did my clan members live? Naruto was excited about trying the technique. I wonder if I can make them too. Yes. The chains were made out of her own chakra. The chains are extremely durable, and the chains are said to bind target's chakra as well. A barrier could also be erected between sealing chains. Kushina did this to not only prevent the Nine Tails from escaping, but also to prevent me, and anyone else, from entering it. The Uzumaki clan's life expectancy usually was around 160 years. However, most died younger due to their thrill for battle and few ninjutsu projects gone terribly wrong. Wow. Naruto no longer had to fake his shock because he was extremely shocked about hearing about all the abilities the chains had, and how long his life expectancy was. I should have read the scroll more thoroughly instead of just skimming it through. Guess I'll do that after I leave here. Thanks for the information, old man. I'll try my best to honor my parents' legacy. Naruto turned and walked out of the Hokage's office. He was more than eager to try and master the jutsus in Yuzashio's forbidden scroll. Flashback end. Naruto was pulled from his thoughts as he made it to the academy doors. When he entered, he was met with a smiling Iruka holding a bucket and a mop. How nice of you to come by, Naruto. The bathroom won't clean themselves. This is torture. Sasuke was aimlessly walking around Konoha's streets when something caught his attention. He faintly heard fighting coming from one of the nearby training grounds. With nothing better to do, he followed the sounds. I wonder who could be training. Last I heard Team 10 went on a mission. From what I can tell, they packed enough for 2 or more weeks. Maybe a C rank? After finally coming to the source of the sounds, he discovered it was Team 8 that was in Training Grounds 3. Sakura was currently sparring with Kiba and Shino against their Jonin sensei Kurenai. He was highly impressed at what the team's skill level. More surprised at Kiba's and Sakura's skill level that they were portraying. He had always known that Shino was very talented and wise, but he didn't really like to show it off. He was brought out of his thoughts when he saw Sakura leap into the air after Kiba attempted to land a hit on Kurenai. After she parried Kiba and kicked Shino away before he could get a sneak attack on her, she turned to face Sakura and jumped out of the way of her punch. What surprised Sasuke, however, was the fact that Sakura managed to make a small crater from the force of her punch. Sasuke was left wide-eyed and a little bit paler at the thought of being on the receiving end of one of those. Nice job, Sakura. If you manage to refine your chakra control enough, you'll theoretically be able to cause severe damage just like Lady Tsunade, Kurenai said, which made her blush from all the praise. Why thank you, Kurenai-sensei. I wouldn't have gotten this far without your help. Nonsense, Sakura-chan. She waved off her compliments. I've done nothing but point you in the right direction. Oh, and by the way, how's your genjutsu creation coming along? Oh right. Here, let me show you how far I've gotten, Sakura said as she started to slowly weave through hand signs. After she was finished, she called out the name of the technique. Demonic Illusions, Sakura Binding Blossoms. The genjutsu that Kurenai was placed in was like one of her most used genjutsus, the Demonic Illusions, Tree Binding Death. However, Sakura added her own twist to it. After having the illusion casted on her, Sakura thought of a way to change it and make it her own. Once the jutsu is cast, the victim starts to feel drowsy, which usually leads to them dropping their guard, and then afterwards are ensnared in vines with sakura flowers blossoming from them. After a couple seconds, the genjutsu was dropped and Kurenai could see the sweat on Sakura's forehead. Guess she needs to concentrate a lot to be able to use that technique. She needs to practice with it more for it to become easier to cast. She smiled down at the pinkette. Great job, Sakura-chan. Although you need more practice with it. It shouldn't require this much strain on you. Sakura merely nodded and threw out her opinion. Yeah, I know, sensei. Honestly, I've been working on that, and I know that there is still more work that needs to be done. I also wanted to add some more to it, but I don't know what. Kurenai laid a hand down on her shoulders, which caused her to look up to her. Hey, for your first original jutsu, it's a great start. She then turned to the rest of her team and started to congratulate them as well. Sakura smiled and went to rest against a tree and to also get a drink. When she made it, she spotted Sasuke out of the corner of her eye. She turned to face him before smiling softly and waving at him, and then turned back to her sensei. Your taijutsu needs some improvements, so we'll work on that tomorrow, Shino. Kiba, your hot-headedness will cost you if you don't get that under control soon. You understand? Kiba let out a heavy sigh before nodding his head repeatedly. Yeah, sensei. I just can't help being the strongest though, he said with a shrug which caused Sasuke to roll his eyes. He felt like he saw enough and started to make his way back to his estate after he started to hear Kurenai chew him out. So, Sakura made her own jutsu, huh? Sasuke thought with respect and a bit of jealousy at not being the first to make his own technique out of all the rookie genin. Guess I'll have to start on making my own jutsu too. Of course it has to be fire-natured. Most fire jutsus are either in the forms of fireballs or streams of fire. I want something unique. How about a laser of fire? He smirked to himself at the thought of his potential new jutsu's ability and strength. Sasuke broke into a sprint towards his clan estate to start working on his new jutsu's idea. He was too eager to get it started. Hinata walked into Hyuga compound so she can shower and get some rest after today's training. As she was making her way towards her room to rest, a branch member intercepted her. Lady Hinata, Lord Hayashi and the elders summoned you in the clan's council room. Hinata nodded and bowed back. Thank you, Ko-san. Have they elaborated on the reasons for the summons? Afraid not, Hyuga-sama. Ko-san, I've told you many times that Hinata is fine when there's no one else around. Hinata lightly chastised. Ko smiled and bowed once more before leaving. As he turned to leave, Hinata turned from her room and made her way to the clan's council chambers. When she was just outside of it, she heard the muffled sounds of the elders arguing about something. She took a deep breath to prepare herself for the future headache she would get from this meeting and knocked. The room quieted down, and Hinata heard her father give her permission to enter. After she did, one of the elders turned to face her and started to elaborate. Hinata-sama, apologies for calling you just when you got home, but we have to discuss some urgent matters. Urgent matters? Hinata asked curiously and cautiously. She didn't like where this was going, and she could already feel a headache starting to manifest. Yes. It concerns your team placements. This again? She interrupted, causing some of the elders to glare at her. She ignored the glares and stood up. I'm sorry if you don't like my team placements, but it's already been set in stone. I'm not joining another team. I'm quite fond of my current team and we get along. She made her way to the door and opened it despite the many protests and glares of the Hyuga elders. If that's all, then I'm heading to my chambers to rest and clean up. As she closed the door behind her, she could hear the loud muffles of the elders' shouts. She felt a bit bad for her father, but not enough to enter again and apologize for her behavior. Especially after they keep attempting to change her team placement just because Naruto is one of her teammates. I need a long soak, Hinata thought to herself as she made it to her room. Only to be bothered yet again. Big sister. Can I rest for a minute? Hinata thought out of frustration. She took a deep breath before she turned to face Hanabi. Hello, Hanabi-chan. I'm sorry, but I'm not in the mood for anything but taking a bath and resting, she said in a tired voice, hoping her sister will let her be. You can bathe and rest after you train me for a bit, she replied happily before grabbing her hand and trying to pull her towards the compound's dojo. Hinata internally sighed and sent chakra to the soles of her feet to prevent Hanabi from dragging her along. She almost giggled when she saw Hanabi fall because of her. I'm sorry, Hanabi-chan, but can we do this another time? I'm exhausted from the training and missions from today. You're no fun, Hanabi said with a pout. She then stood up and placed her hands on her hips and glared at Hinata. You promise we'll train tomorrow? Hinata smiled and pinched one of Hanabi's cheeks, causing her to yelp. I never said when, little sister. But fine, tomorrow I'll help you train. Yay! Hanabi yelled in triumph. She then ran outside, presumably to train herself for now. Hinata shook her head and entered her room, and would finally prepare for the bath and rest she so desperately wanted right now. Naruto made his way into his apartment complex, and went his way to his door. After unlocking it, he entered and locked the door. He looked around, nodded to himself, and created 3 clones. All right, you. He pointed to one of the clones. Prepare some dinner for me while I take a shower. You. He pointed to a second clone while the first one was doing his task. Go work on figuring out why we can't produce the adamantine sealing chains. We need to figure that out soon. Having the ability to create the chains will be a really useful addition to our arsenal. The clone nodded and left to the bedroom to figure out the issue. What do you want me to do, boss? The last clone asked. I want you to go over the forbidden scrolls we got from Yuzu again and organize the jutsus into different categories. What will the categories be, boss? Ones we can safely learn and use, ones that will be trump cards, and ones that will kill me. Got it. As the clone left to do his task, Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He opened his eyes and went to go shower. After the shower, he went to go eat the meal his clone had prepared for him. After he ate, he created another 6 clones to help aid the other 2 with their tasks. He made his way towards the bedroom before he stopped and made another clone. I want you to finish reading the book on the beginner level of seals. If you start to run out of chakra, you know what to do. The clone nodded and went into the kitchen and picked up the book he needed. Naruto himself went to bed and laid down. As soon as he did, he immediately passed out. Kakashi stood in front of his genin in Training Ground 7. He eyed each of his genin. Today he had planned that they take their training up a notch. Although the way 2 of his genin looked was not what he was expecting. Hinata was the normal one. She looked fine and refreshed from the previous day's training. The ones that looked bad were the 2 boys. Sasuke looked paler than ever. His hair was all in disarray and parts of his clothes were singed. He looked like we were about to collapse in a matter of minutes. Then there was Naruto. Naruto looked just as tired and pale, but Kakashi would guess that the reason was different. Instead of being physically tired, he appeared to be mentally tired. Perhaps from studying Fuinjutsu all night long. Kakashi shook his head and spoke. Naruto, Sasuke. What were you two doing that made you show up to the team meeting looking this exhausted? I was trying to create an original fire jutsu. Sasuke responded back in a tired voice. Naruto turned to face Sasuke with a surprised face that had all exhaustion wiped. Really? Sasuke nodded. How far did you get? Not as far as I'd like. All I managed to do was make a smaller fireball. Well, what's the jutsu you have in mind? Kakashi asked. I want to make a fire laser pretty much. A concentrated and condensed laser of fire that can burn anything in its path. That does sound like it's going to take a while to create and master. Sasuke nodded and drooped his head a bit. But that's part of why I brought you guys out here. He pulled out 4 small pieces of paper and handed them to each of his genin. What's this? Naruto asked curiously. That, my little chibi, is called chakra induction paper. When it's exposed to even the slightest hint of chakra, it reacts according to the chakra's latent element. If it's fire, the paper will ignite and turn to ash. Wind, the paper will split in two. Lightning, the paper will wrinkle. Earth, the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away. Water, the paper will become wet. Kakashi sent a bit of chakra into the paper to show what he meant. The paper then proceeded to wrinkle between his 2 fingers. As you can see, I have a lightning affinity. You go first, Sasuke. Sasuke nodded and channeled chakra into his piece of paper. It wrinkled before bursting into fire and turned into ash. Wow, Sasuke-chan, Sasuke scowled at the nickname. You have 2 elements. That's rare for a genin. Sensei, does this mean we wouldn't be able to use any of the other elements? Hinata questioned. Not necessarily. It just means that you'll have an easier time learning and performing those types of nature jutsus. They'll also be more powerful. Anyways, your turn, princess. Hinata frowned a bit at the nickname but channeled chakra to the paper. Her paper became wet and a bit wrinkled. So I have a water affinity. And a weak lightning affinity too. Look at it more closely. It has a bit of wrinkles. Hinata inspected it closer and saw that it did indeed have wrinkles. Last but not least, chibi. Naruto nodded and sent chakra to the paper, and it instantly sliced into several pieces. Wow, chibi, it appears you have a very strong wind affinity. One of the rarest one's affinities out there. Oh yeah, I'm the best. Naruto cockily replied. Sorry, chibi, but I won't be able to properly teach you any stronger wind jutsus later. You'll have to ask the only other person that has wind affinity in this village. Asuma Sarutobi. Huh? There's only one more user here? And he's related to the old man? Yes. He's also Team 10 Sensei. But you're going to have to wait to ask him for any jutsus because they recently left on a C-rank mission. Hopefully it won't be as bad as ours was. Hinata replied. Well, we didn't really do anything besides party a bit and watch the old man work on the bridge. Sasuke replied. Yeah, I ended up doing most of the work. Even making the bridge. Naruto chimed in. And whose fault was that? Kakashi said as he bonked Naruto on his head, which caused Naruto to grumble some curses under his breath. Kakashi went to pluck 3 leaves from a tree and handed them to his genin. Alright everyone. You're going to channel chakra into the leaves and get your respective outcomes. Naruto, you want to cleanly split the leaf in half. Hinata, you can either make it completely damp, or crinkle it into a ball. Sasuke, you can either burn it to ash or crinkle it into a ball. Sasuke and Hinata nodded and started to try and accomplish their task. Sensei? Naruto called out. Yes, chibi? Can I use shadow clones? Oh, so you figured out the shadow clone trick? Yeah, I just read the information. Very well. Make as much as you can then. Just be careful with the memory overload. Hi. Sasuke and Hinata turned to each other, all confused as to the conversation they overheard. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto called out before clouds of smoke enveloped the training field. There's over TW 2000 clones. Hinata said in a whisper. Shit. Hinata turned to face Sasuke, who was white as a ghost. Hopefully I never truly piss him off enough to summon this many clones. Hinata could only nod. Alright guys. You know what to do. Naruto shouted to the clones. Hi. They all chorused. Hey Naruto, after an hour, dispel the clones so you'll get the memories back and create more clones after. You got it, sensei. After an hour of Kakashi's genin trying to channel their chosen elemental chakra into the leaves, Kakashi calls for them to take a break and relax. Kakashi turned to face Naruto and told him to dispel all his clones so he'll get the memories. After that, he walked to a bag that he brought with him earlier that day and pulled out 4 bento boxes. He handed one to each genin and sat down to eat the last one. So how's everyone's progress? I'm getting there, sensei. Hinata responded first. I've managed to get the leaf damp, but only barely. I managed to barely burn the edges of the leaf. Sasuke grumbled. Everyone turned to face Naruto and waited for his reply. However, instead of replying, Naruto went to pick a leaf and show them his progress. His leaf managed to cut in half a third of the way. Damn. Not as far as I thought. Well, you guys are still making great progress. Okay, let's finish up lunch, then we'll split up for solo training so you can improve on fixing your weaknesses. Hi, sensei. The genin responded. The rest of the meal was eaten in a comfortable silence and at a relaxed pace. After lunch was over, Kakashi made 2 shadow clones and split the genin up. The real Kakashi took Naruto into a secluded part of the forest for his training. Alright. Show me your progress with the Rasengan. Naruto nodded and created a shadow clone to help him create a Rasengan. I managed to create it, but I have to use a shadow clone for now. It's too hard for me to contain the power otherwise. Kakashi nodded and lifted his height. He examined the Rasengan closely with his Sharingan to analyze the jutsu better. Learn how to do it without a clone soon. Otherwise you won't be able to use it in certain circumstances. Plus the process of creating a shadow clone and then creating a Rasengan will take time that you might not have, and in the heat of battle, a second is the difference between life and death. Naruto nodded with seriousness and determination. Have clones work on perfecting it while we do something else. Naruto nodded and created 20 clones to work on that issue. What are we going to work on meanwhile, sensei? Are you interested in Fuinjutsu? Kakashi asked with a nice smile. Oh, I already started to learn about that, sensei. I'm still at the beginner level though. I want to master everything in that level before I move on to the next. Good thinking, Chibi. That mindset is what separates masters from novices. Okay, so what kind of seals can you make as of now? Only basic storage seals for now. I wanted to learn chakra suppression seals and prisoner seals the most because those are the most useful, but I learned the hard way that I shouldn't rush stuff in Fuinjutsu. He replied as he idly rubbed chest from remembering the pain he went through when he tried creating a chakra suppression seal before he finished the beginner level. It ended up blowing up in his face. Literally. Yes, the art of Fuinjutsu is not to be taken lightly. Your parents can attest to that from all their failed experiments in creating new seals. Word of advice: when testing out new and unfamiliar seals, use shadow clones. Gotcha. Okay, well, create 5 shadow clones and put them to work on getting through the beginner level so you can move on to the intermediate level where you'll learn how to make those suppression seals and exploding seals. What about the prisoner seals? He asked after creating the clones. If I recall correctly, those are in the advanced level due to having to seal actual living human beings. Why is it so difficult though? Because, Chibi, you have to take into account the body's composition. We're not as simple as, say, a log. We have organs, liquids like our blood and water, gases like the oxygen in our lungs, and solids like our bones, and so on. Oh, I didn't take those into account. I didn't think so. Alright, with the clone studying, we'll work on fixing up your weaknesses. Specifically, your weakness against genjutsu. Naruto groaned but nodded. Alright, create 5 more clones to help speed up the progress. Naruto grinned and created 5 more clones. God, I love how broken shadow clones are. Hinata was taken to her own part of the forest away from her teammates. Kakashi looked at the heiress before smiling and asking her a question. Hinata, what would you say your weakness is? Hinata pondered it for a couple of seconds before responding. Well, I would have to say fighting in long-range battles. Due to the gentle fist, I have to be in proximity to my target so it can take effect. Correct. So, what do you think will fix that issue? A couple of long-range jutsus? Not necessarily. Why use jutsus that can alert the enemy of your position, and most of the time, they won't even land on the target, so you just wasting chakra. The more chakra we waste, the less time we can last in battle. So how can I fix the distance issue? She said with a frown. Well, many ways, my cute little genin. You can use ranged weapons like kunai, but they're not as good as what I have prepared for you. He pulled out a storage scroll from his weapon pouch and unsealed the contents within it. A bow? Yup. With this, your range issue won't be a problem anymore, and with your Byakugan, you'll basically be able to take down anyone. But won't kunais work better? Kakashi shook his head. With bows you'll be able to hit targets from as far as you can see, since the bow has a further range than a kunai, and you'll save chakra for later or other stuff, such as medical ninjutsu if you're ever interested in it. Hinata took a minute to ponder on the possibilities of becoming a possible medical ninja. She would be in the position to help her teammates more, and with the bow, she'll be able to take out enemies from a distance to further protect her teammates if necessary. Very well, sensei. Please teach me how to use a bow, and I would like to learn medical ninjutsu as well. Glad to hear that. Unfortunately, I'm not a medical ninja, so I won't be able to help you all that well in that department. However, I did bring a book about it with me. Create a shadow clone to read through the book while we start working on mastering the bow. Hinata deadpanned at Kakashi. Sensei, I don't know the shadow clone jutsu. Kakashi merely sweat dropped at his own mistake. Alright, well, why don't I teach you? You have enough for one. Only one? Hinata asked, a bit ashamed of her own chakra reserves. Guess I'll have to do more chakra control exercises to build up my reserves. There's nothing wrong with only managing one shadow clone, Hinata. I can only manage 20, but that's my maximum. Even then, I'd be too tired to actually fight anyone. Naruto can make so much because he has a crazy amount of chakra to the point where it's not even funny. His reserves were forced to grow abnormally quickly due to Kyuubi, and even then, he'd still have a lot of chakra without him due to his Uzumaki lineage. So Naruto is the only one who can effectively use the shadow clones to the maximum extent. Yes. But the more training you do, the more your chakra will grow, and with that the more clones you'll be able to make to help your training fasten. Hinata nodded with a resolved look in her eyes. Good. Now the only hand sign is this. He put his fingers in a cross hand sign and created one shadow clone, and then dispelled it. Be sure to only create one. If you create two or more, you're either going to die or to the hospital for severe chakra exhaustion. Hinata gulped and nodded. Okay. Just one clone. She took a deep breath and called out the jutsu's name. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Hinata heard a poof and slowly opened her eyes to see a replica of herself standing next to her. She was about to smile when suddenly she felt exhausted. Kakashi saw her start to sway, so he pulled out 2 food pills from his pouch and handed them to the two. They ate it and nodded in thanks to her sensei when they felt their reserves replenish. Alright. Clone Hinata, take this book and start reading it. I'll tell you when to dispel if you don't run out of chakra beforehand. Real Hinata, here you go, he said as he held out his hands. Hinata nodded and grabbed the bow from Kakashi's held out hands. Alright, let's start your training. Sasuke was taken to his own part of the forest for his training with a clone of Kakashi. He was wondering what Kakashi was going to teach him that couldn't be taught with everyone, but then he remembered what he said earlier. We'll split up for solo training so you can improve on fixing your weaknesses. Now the question was, what were his weaknesses? Thinking about your weaknesses? Kakashi asked in an amused tone, causing Sasuke to scowl at being read so easily. Well, there goes one. You're really easy to anger even after Naruto helped you out. What are my other weaknesses? For now, close range. Since you haven't awakened your Sharingan, your Taijutsu style leaves too many openings which are meant to be filled in by the Sharingan by reading and predicting your enemy's movements. To fix that problem, you're taking up Kenjutsu. I'm getting a sword? Sasuke asked, shocked that he would be learning the art of swordsmanship. Why a sword? Well, you're getting a Chikuto later on. And you're learning Kenjutsu so that you can be on the front lines and have more chance of wounding your opponents than just throwing kunai or wasting chakra by throwing around jutsus. Alright, but why can't I use kunai? With a Chikuto you'll have a longer range than you would with a kunai. Plus, if you manage to master your nature chakra, you'll be able to channel it into your Chikuto, and with the longer reach, the deadlier it'll be. Alright. Please teach me. Kakashi grinned under his mask and nodded. Good. We'll start by learning the katas first. After you've memorized them, to the point where it'll be muscle memory, we can start to have Kenjutsu spars. Sasuke nodded in understanding. Kakashi was about to continue when he received the memories of the clone that the Kakashi clone made with Hinata. He smirked and looked at Sasuke in an analyzing gaze. What is it, sensei? Based on what I feel from your chakra levels, I'd say you can make 1 or 2 shadow clones. You have more than Hinata, but I'm not sure if you have enough for 2 shadow clones. Sasuke's eyes widened a bit before smirking. Does this mean me and Hinata will learn the shadow clone jutsu? Kakashi nodded and tossed Sasuke a food pill. When you make a clone, feel how much chakra you have left. If you feel like you're about to pass out, eat the soldier pill. Oh, and here. Kakashi gave Sasuke a wooden sword. When you make a shadow clone, it clones whatever the user is wielding and wearing. Sasuke nodded and put his hands in the cross-hand seal that he saw Naruto use so many times. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He heard a puff of smoke before he felt a little dizzy. He quickly popped the chakra into his mouth and felt his reserves replenish. He turned and saw one clone that looked exactly like him. He was about to let a smirk cross his lips but caught something out of the corner of his eyes. He turned to see a clone of Sasuke as white and bad as Naruto's attempts of making the regular clone jutsu. Kakashi couldn't help but chuckle at the display before the sickly white clone disappeared in a puff of smoke and Sasuke felt some of his chakra return to him. Guess you're not ready for 3 clones, but you're close. If you do more chakra control exercises, your chakra pool will grow. Sasuke nodded and looked at Kakashi. Kakashi fished in his pouch until he found a scroll containing the katas Sasuke would learn. Alright, remember, continue doing these stances until it's muscle memory. Hi! The 2 Sasukes yelled. Team 7 continued to train until noon came around. They stopped their training and gathered in the center of the training field again to recap what they learned and practiced. Alright. So Naruto is learning Fuinjutsu and how to break out of Genjutsus at the moment. Hinata is learning how to use a bow and is also studying medical ninjutsu. And Sasuke is learning to wield a chikudo, but for now we're practicing with a wooden sword. Also Hinata and Sasuke learn how to make a shadow clone. What? You guys learned my specialty? He asked the 2. Was Sasuke's response while he was sporting a grin. Yes, but I can only make one for now. Hinata replied, making Sasuke's grin drop and nodded in agreement with Hinata. So you guys only need more chakra? That's not too bad. Yes. Alright, it's mission time, so we should go to the Hokage's tower to pick up our mission. The genin nodded and made their way towards the tower to see the Hokage, or old man as Naruto would say. On their way there, they saw Chunin running through the halls and towards the mission assignment room where the Hokage would be right now. Is anyone else feeling a bit uneasy? Naruto asked in a worried tone.